Reverb Experiment, episode number 48.
Yo.
Steph.net is in the building. Not in the building, excuse me. She had some family business to attend to and some other things that's going on. So we want to just give her some love real quick while me and Photo B hold it down.
We got this. We got this.
She will be back. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we want to give a shout out to everybody out there that is doing the work and putting in the time and energy to make sure that their mental health is where it should be. And we want to encourage those that are maybe on the fence to please go seek the help that you need. There is plenty of organizations, plenty of websites that have resources and funding that will help you get to where you need to get to. And on this podcast, we talk about mental health a lot. So we want to just make sure that we put that to the forefront. We want to send our condolences to all the people that have lost their lives with the mass shootings that have recently happened. It's crazy, man. It seems like every time we turn on the news, man, it's like just craziness going on outside. So I think some of it's tied to mental health, some of it's tied to white supremacy. I don't want to get into it too much, but we definitely want to make sure that we acknowledge the people that have lost their lives due to the unforeseen violence that has been going on, not only recently, but throughout this nation's country.
I'm not attaching mental health to that one.
Well, I didn't say that one.
I know, but I know, just in general, but that one, nah. I watched the video.
Oh, you
the
watched
video. I came across the video, right? Did anybody else see any portion of any of the video?
No.
There was anybody hear what happened?
Yes.
Portions of it, but I can't.
No. So there was a moment to where after he shot somebody near the checkout aisle, he turned down the checkout aisle because somebody else was there, point the gun at them, and was like, "Oh, sorry," because they were white.
Damn.
Because they were white. He had it pointed at him, ready to go. He's like, "Oh, sorry."
That definitely
and then
is
walked
white
away.
Supremacy then. So yeah.
100%. He wrote a manifesto. He knew. Here's the thing, right? 18-year-old kid who knew exactly where to go for the least resistance. He did his research on gun laws in certain cities. And he knew that most likely there was nobody caring.
The only thing I did hear is that he drove 2 hours out
Like
there
2-3 hours,
to the neighborhood. So that was intentional. So of course, yes, they can't use mental health now to say, "Oh, he's mentally ill." No. He planned all that.
He's planned.
He was very intentional on that.
He stated he planned this. He wrote shit on his gun. It wasn't just on some. No, he, like I say, he did he went there because he knew that he had less chances of getting shot back at.
That's true. Yeah. Let me be clear, because Photo B, you bring up a very good point. I am not putting mental health on that situation as an excuse to what he did and what happened.
Hell nah. That shit makes me want to get my CCW though, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
wow.
Unfortunately, I hear that shit's hard as hell.
It's hard, but it's not impossible.
It's obtainable.
You know what I mean? It's obtainable.
Yeah, it is.
It's obtainable. It takes you a minute, but it's still
It's worth getting now.
It's worth getting. Oh my God, is it worth getting?
Yeah, for sure.
It is worth getting for sure.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I'm on the same tip. I think we already had that episode where we talked about the guns. I told you, like, whole family about to get trained.
Got to.
Absolutely.
The range is not far. There's a
bunch of them out here.
Yeah.
The one off of Laguna.
And then the one off of Grant Line. Yeah, there's definitely a few. So yeah, so everybody, man, just make sure that you appreciate the loved ones that you got. Time is not promised to anybody out here, and like I said, man, people's wilding. People are wilding. People, crazy stuff going on.
And he knew what he was doing. He was tactical.
Well, no, it was planned. Yeah, it was planned out.
His movements were tactical.
Yeah.
It just pisses me off that they just let him walk out of there. Just let him walk out. He ain't have a scratch on him.
Okay.
Not a shot, not a scratch, nothing, not a nick.
So for that, what happened was, it's not like he was shooting at anybody like when they pulled up on him. Yeah. When they got to him, he already laid himself like down on the ground.
He knew what he was
doing. Yeah. He laid down on the ground, put his hands behind his back and waited. He actually originally was going to shoot himself. But he put the gun off to the side, threw it off to the side, lay down, put her arms behind his back. That was it.
See, and that's why.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. So on today's show, just before we go, because that's gonna put me down a whole
rabbit hole. Because I was talking about more shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because that's a byproduct. That situation was a byproduct of the Kyle Rittenhouse shit. Because he is damn near being celebrated.
Yeah, for sure.
He's on these talk shows.
Sure.
He's he's
well, it's similar to the George Zimmerman thing.
Yeah.
Where he was damn near treated like a celebrity. Gun was auctioned off. Autographs.
For Kyle, didn't they take him to McDonald's or something?
Dylan,
was that was Dylan, one of the white boys.
Or it was Burger King or something like that.
Burger King or somewhere.
Took him to get some food.
Yeah, I think there was something in there on the reason why they did it. But regardless, the point is that we get shot for having cigarettes.
They wasn't killed.
Yes,
is what happened.
These dudes be shooting at killing people in churches and stuff, and they be taking a lie. So you can't tell me that you can't de-escalate or do your job just based off of.
They're giving their day in court.
Yeah, but again, it's the preconception or the image of black men or black people in general are more susceptible to violent crimes and criminal activity. When if you look at it, and I was looking at the stats today, the amount of mass shootings, white people have committed 68 mass shootings compared to everybody else's. They like all the other races combined, they're like way above anybody else. So it's funny that they always talk about we knew that, but it's funny that the news will always say terrorism. It's like, well, you got homegrown terrorism going on, and you don't call it terrorism. You over to call it a mass shooting. No, that is an act of terrorism.
That's interesting because there hasn't even been any kind of acts of non-white terrorism in the past few years. If you think about it, majority of shit's been happening. It has been white people.
Well, on our homegrown soil, who is it most often?
Exactly. That's just what I'm saying. There hasn't been any situation going with anybody else.
So I did hear somebody say that this is a white people problem. Y'all need to get together and figure out what it is that scares y'all so much with our skin. What is it? Because y'all want to shoot us up, and then when you see us, so for the police who are supposed to honor and protect all of us, they're still shooting us up. So if we got everybody that's coming after us, what is y'all problem?
Yeah.
What's going on with y'all?
Yeah.
Seriously.
But it was designed that way. If you go all the way back to the original birth of a nation, that's how we were depicted. We were depicted as savages, as more criminal, and that they use that imagery to be able to justify mass incarceration. Because if you feel like that we are more susceptible to committing crimes, then you feel like that you are getting the bad guys off the streets when you are arresting us in more disappropriate numbers than any other race or any other gender. You know what I mean? So it makes it justifiable because when they ended slavery, they still needed free labor in some shape, form, or fashion. And that's when private prisons came in. And you see that all these prison inmates make all this cheap stuff. Just look down the list of companies that use prison labor. It's crazy. Like they get paid like 4 cents a day. And if you look at the 13th Amendment, it says that they abolish slavery except for if you are in prison or a criminal or something like that. I don't know the exact wording, but the wording is that if you are locked up or if you are an inmate, then you are susceptible to basically it is modern day slavery. So they're gonna find a way to capitalize. They're gonna find a way. But I guarantee you, if anybody else had done 68 mass shootings in America, whether it be Mexican, whether it be black, whether it be Muslim, it would be terrorism all over.
100%.
And there would have been a task force.
Absolutely.
There would have been FBI, CIA, ABC. It would have been all the alphabet
1, 2,
boys
3.
all up on them.
And what do they consider? What do they consider mass? Like 3 or more? Or is it 4 or more?
Look. You asking the wrong person.
I'm not sure either.
Because it's not a high number for them to consider.
I don't think it would be a high number. Yeah. My question is, what do they consider terrorism? Because that is a federal charge, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if I've ever heard of no white boy getting charged with no terrorism. But if you go into a church shooting up black people, that sounds like terrorism to me.
That's absolutely
4 or
terrorism.
more is a mass shooting.
4 or more is a mass shooting. Okay. So that's why they categorize what happened downtown in Sacramento as a mass shooting. Okay. Makes sense. Okay, y'all.
Because it's not like it was the Vegas mass shooting. That shit.
I don't even want to talk about that, bro. It was so weird.
Weird.
It happened and then it didn't happen.
You know what I'm talking about, right? The one that happened in the country, in the country concert. So dude was came out the window, and there was someone he was blasting shit. Like he had the hotel room looking over it, and he was
like shooting from the window. Yeah,
dumping.
And then when they
How
went
did I
up
not
to the
hear about
hotel
this one?
room, then they couldn't find him. They couldn't find any evidence. They couldn't find nothing, right?
Wait, no. There was a lot of shit going on. I don't remember them not being able to find anything, but he had hella guns. They were like they showed the pictures of like how they were shooting through their doors and all that.
Yeah.
But I remember there was some weird shit that was going on.
But I don't remember if they ever found him.
I think they did.
Maybe they did. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like
You
all
get
them,
away from
all them
that.
weird shootings around that time.
Crazy.
64-year-old man.
Okay, well that
What?
the Sandy Hook, all that stuff was super weird because they all had like
411 people got hit by guns.
yeah, there you go. See, it was something crazy. But I remember that like that one in Sandy Hook. I think that they said like days before they did some type of drill that showed what would happen in that kind of event.
And then it happened. But then they were talking about too, like there were hella shit that was going on afterwards. Talking about the people who were there who got shot
Where the same people are like it's like they were actors, like
Yeah.
they were in other.
crisis actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because because they saw the picture and you're like, well, this person that was in the Vegas shooting was in the Sandy Hook shooting. I was like, what?
Yeah, 61
Yeah.
died, 24 firearms, 14 rifles, 8 other like AR so 14 AR-15s, 8 AR-10s, bolt action rifle and a revolver.
That's crazy.
That is.
Motive unknown.
See, I'm telling you, man. But if that was the new Black Panthers or anybody, any kind of black, oh my
Absolutely.
God, they would have
Oh,
wiped
my
them
goodness.
out. Okay, all right. I don't know how we got on that subject, but we gonna get we gonna
we were talking about
about the mass shooting. Yeah,
mass shooting
and
shit.
our condolences to the family.
Absolutely.
Man, I tell you, it feel like we in like the Matrix or some type of simulation. So I'm telling you,
Bruh,
that's what it feels like.
It's
to me.
been oh my God, I thought it was just me.
No, I feel like
I
that
thought it
too.
was just me because nothing's making so
Nothing
much
makes
shit.
sense.
It don't make sense.
We getting so many different type of information. It's left and right and shit. And you start realizing, you start thinking about things about how perspective works, right? Kind of almost the same thing. How like your belief system is based off your region, right? So what they think is good is what and we don't think is good. We all of a sudden we're outs, but that's just how we were raised. But perspective changes a lot when there's different things that you understand.
Absolutely.
What's that effect?
Mandela
The
effect.
Mandela effect.
To
The
where
one where
things
when
change?
you think that you remember something differently
That
than what it
happens all
actually
the time.
was.
You know what my theory is on that? So I have a theory, right? I have a theory that you ever be driving or you be able to do something, and you have like this random thought, like say you get like you think you get to an accident and you kind of shiver,
Yeah.
right? I feel like that shiver is like a transfer over to another universe because your consciousness knew that you're about to die, right? So it goes over to a different universe, right? But it's so similar. It's so similar, but certain things are just a little bit different. Just a little bit different. Nothing crazy enough to actually imagine, but that's where you start thinking, were real, but it really wasn't. But somebody had different perspective on it. So the more things that happen, the more universes we go through, and the more slight differences start showing up more.
You know what's crazy?
I could rock with that. That
is
theory.
I would typically disagree with you, but I totally agree with you.
I do too.
Because
I've had that
even
happen to me.
The deja vu. Like I
Yes.
can't. Nobody can explain what deja vu
Hey,
is.
have y'all ever had like moments to where it's like not even just deja vu, but it's like the conversations that you have been similar. Like you guys seen the new Matrix, right? The newest Matrix.
Oh,
So
I didn't see
No,
that
I
one.
haven't seen
I
it.
didn't
oh,
see
you
it.
haven't seen it? Shit. So
I'm like, yes, I've seen The Matrix, but yeah, I ain't seen the
It
new
looked
one.
pretty bad, so I didn't want to.
It was
I didn't.
bad, but there was a scene. There was a scene to where he was essentially having the same conversations with different people, but it was the same thing over and over and over again in a loop, right? At a certain point, and sometimes in our lives, we feel like we're in a loop, right? It's almost like we have no idea what's going to happen next, but we just end up going back and having these same conversations. Like, did we talk about this? Didn't we talk about this? I don't know. I think so. Maybe. And it's almost the same thing, even with other people. It's like, damn, I just talked to somebody about this. And
Or
then all
you
of a
saw
sudden-
yourself talking about it. I have that all the time. That's the reason why I'm like, I can absolutely rock with that because I've been in a car before and I'll just like shake my head because I'm like, I thought something came through the window, but it didn't come through the window and it didn't hit me. And I was just like, what was that? And why am I doing that? Or why am I ducking? I do that often.
All the time.
I do that often. It's so weird. Or if I'm walking and I move over real quick or something like that. So I absolutely can.
also
Like doppelgangers almost. Like
kind of
something along
Or
those lines. Like
variants or something.
something,
Yeah, variants, right?
something's happened. Yes.
Like, y'all know-
Absolutely.
alternate consciousness.
Yes.
So I think that's also too like a portion of they're saying that dreams are connection to the universe as well. I mean not universe, other universe.
So like our multiverse almost.
Right, exactly. So like you guys ever like just be like napping or about to fall asleep and shit, and all of a sudden you get that jerk feeling of falling. Where the hell does that come from?
Yeah, I listen. I'm not gonna argue with you. I have my own perspective.
That's a good
on dreams.
theory.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody could ever verify what it is. I feel like God communicates to you through dreams, because a lot of times I'll get a dream. And like, there's actually websites that are dedicated to symbolism in dreams. And when I look it up, it's like spot on.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be like, if you had a dominant dream of water means, I don't know what it actually means.
But
it'll say,
no.
It means a new beginning. It means refresh. It means something's coming. And then 2 weeks later, job promotion. I'm like, okay, God, I see you.
Right.
I see you, God. You know what I mean? Or it'll be like something super violent. And I'm like, what was that? And I look it up, and it's like, you are trying to kill a conception or some type of presupposition of yourself that other people believe about you, and you're trying to break out of it. So that was it'll be deep stuff like that.
I see.
And I'm like, dang, like that is real. Like, you know what I mean?
Talking, your dreams be talking.
So it's that super subconsciousness that you just. You know what I mean? It's deep. It's deep. And we can get deep. That's a whole nother podcast episode. we might have to start our own controversy episode or a podcast, like getting
conspiracy
deep into the reverb.
You feel me?
Something.
But that's like, I mean,
that's good.
That's on the same line like the angel numbers and shit.
Bro,
like
all the movies like Inception, this whole multiverse Marvel stuff that's going on, like, bro, like there's got to be something to it.
It has to be.
It is because they already admitted. They admitted that they found connections to like parallel universes, like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
But that had me thinking, because we've been talking about Marvel, so how they had like the 5 years where
the blip.
Like, we just went through our own 2-year blip.
That's true.
Damn
like.
No, that's true.
There's something to it.
I mean, honestly, there's something to everything.
It is
that goes on, and I think people said that the movie 2012, was actually something that actually did happen, because they're talking about like shit hasn't been the same since. And it was just like a different way of like a conscious thinking of what changed. But at the same time too, like
it could be, yeah.
At the same time too, it was 2012. The theory of 2012 was very time based, and it's something that we created. Because sometimes you forget that it's a continuous flow of time.
Well,
it's not a start over when you wake up. It's not a start over. It's continuation.
What's crazy? Somebody, those people on TikTok, which I didn't subscribe to, but it was interesting that. Because if you go by 2012 with the Greek calendar, then yeah. But they were saying that if you go by the Ethiopian calendar, I think it has like 13 months instead of 12 or something like that. Or something like, it's like a different timing.
And they're in 2012 now.
It was 2020 or 2021.
Right.
And then the pandemic hit. So they were like, they knew something was going to happen. Which, I mean, you can, tomato. But the bottom line is funny, because even before the pandemic happened, all these zombie movies came out. All these like virus or people are gonna die because of a viral.
Walking Dead came out.
You know what I mean? And it's like to me, it's like I have this theory. That in movies, they put things in movies to desensitize you, because they're trying to prepare you for what's going to come. For instance, like Enemy of the State. Enemy of the State came out, right? That was before. Not before cell phones, but we had cell phones, but not to the extent we have now. Where you had cameras everywhere, right? Where Will Smith went, you were able to follow him, they were able to track him, they had facial recognition. And shortly after that, 9/11 and all the stuff, and saying that, we need to take away your rights and we need to increase our security. And now you can't go nowhere without a camera on either ATM, on a traffic light, on a and you can't get away from the FBI no more. Same thing with the Minority Report, same thing with iRobot, and now Elon Musk is doing the artificial intelligence. It's like, you're putting this in the movies so that way when it happens, we like, oh, okay, I already saw it before, so I'm not shocked by it. You already told me it's coming.
It's the movies and The Simpsons.
And then, so that new movie, that new movie with the dude, God, what's his actor's name? The dude that's playing Blade. Marshawn Ali, where he transfers his consciousness into his clones. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay,
No,
you got to see that. So basically, he's dying from a terminal illness.
Okay.
So, but he does not want to leave his wife and his children.
Okay.
So what he does is they have this new program where if you are dying, you can clone yourself and then transfer your consciousness or your thoughts and everything into the clone. So that way the clone can you just do a switch where he dies peacefully, but the clone lives on and still takes on the family, like take care of the family.
Interesting.
And what was Elon Musk doing with all those monkeys? Transferring consciousness and all the little the brain chip.
Oh,
Look it up.
Sense.
All the monkeys died, but he's testing that shit right now.
Because they killed them. They killed the monkeys.
All the monkeys.
It was like
died.
stay away from the monkeys, and they all died.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. It's some shit, some 13 monkey shit.
All right, man. Look. So on today's episode, we talking about Kendrick Lamar. We talking about new music that dropped, man. It was a dope album, but we gonna get into it. We gonna talk about mental health and finances with our special guest that you guys have obviously already heard her. But
I was trying to be quiet. I was like,
No.
I ain't even been introduced yet. Like,
nah, we gonna. It's all good. You added to that conversation. We gonna talk about dating and money since it's such a hot topic, especially in today's age. And then we're gonna talk about Black Lives Matter and what's been accused of them mismanaging their money. So before we get into that, you guys already know the drill. YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell, help us with the algorithm. If you are on Apple, Google Podcasts, any of those things, please like it, subscribe, leave a review. Anything that you can do, please share it. That helps out the algorithm as well. Right now, we're not asking for any kind of donations. Everything has been funded by us. So what we do ask is, please, if you want to listen, if you support us, like, share, subscribe. That's all we ask.
But I mean, if you want to send us money, feel free.
Oh, we gonna get there.
No, feel free. Feel free. Just like, hey, ask us what the Cash App is.
Hey,
Venmo,
what the
PayPal.
Cash App?
You feel me?
We gonna get there.
Look, send it if
I'm
you want
always
to.
down for donations.
Oh, please.
You feel me?
Please.
Just because we're not asking doesn't mean we're not accepting. Okay?
Yes, absolutely. So before we even get into the show, I wanna introduce a very special person. We all connected on Instagram, but I love her content, so y'all got to go check out her content, man. Especially if you are into finances. Matter of fact, even if you're not into finances, just follow because she drops gems every time I see her. We're gonna go ahead and introduce Gina R. Richardson,
Yes,
right?
yes.
She's a very energetic, explosive speaker, intentional financial coach and entrepreneur known for her empathetic spirit and ability to relate and bond with others. As a 15-year veteran in the financial industry, she has helped hundreds of thousands of people maintain their economic life through her digestible financial teaching, which is important. You got to be able to understand what's being taught.
Absolutely.
And realistic approach to the financial management. So we're going to go ahead and give her, man, a round of applause, man.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate you reading that. Thank y'all for having me.
Yes,
Hey, when's
Black
your
Girl
birthday?
Magic.
When's your birthday?
January 19th.
Okay.
I'm a Capricorn.
Capricorn. Okay.
Why you ask?
Just wondering.
Why?
No,
He always got to check the vibe.
What
He always
sign?
check the
What
vibe.
sign did I seem like?
well, I don't know.
Interesting. What sign are you?
Gemini.
Gemini. But I get along with so many Geminis.
'Cause we're dope.
It's so, I'm going to say that y'all are. Y'all absolutely are. My brother, so my cousin brother, he's a Gemini. And like me and him are just like, oh my God, we can just relate on so many different topics. But I have a lot of Geminis in my life as well.
Awesome.
You know what? Not a lot. I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, what we doing?
Capricorn moon.
Oh, and I have my Capricorn on. It's on my foot though.
Hey.
It's on my
Okay,
foot.
look at y'all
Just
matching.
because,
You feel me? We out here.
Okay.
no,
see?
but I'm a
Goated.
Capricorn, and so I'm down to earth. That's just interesting that you asked that because I normally ask everyone that too.
I beat you to the punch.
Yes, you did. Especially if I'm like, this person seemed pretty cool. Let me see what their zodiac is because I try to see which zodiacs I bond with the most. So, but no, thank y'all so much for having me here. I'm super, super excited. Thank you for telling the people check me out. Finances is just my thing. Money is my thing.
You know, I think we usually do that at the end, but let's just do it now. Where can we find you?
Oh, I'm sorry. My
no,
bad.
you good. Go ahead.
My bad. Oh, look at me. Just stepping in too much. I'm at Mindfully Rich, at Mindfully_Rich_podcast. Both of those are my Instagram.
Okay.
Where those are my Instagram accounts where you can find me. So mine is the at Mindfully Rich, and then the podcast is at Mindfully_Rich_podcast.
Okay. And we gonna tag her in all the posts and things that we do, y'all. So if y'all ain't got a pen and paper to write that down, trust me, it'll be tagged. All of that, so you'll be able to just click on it and get there. But please follow, listen. Like I said, all of the content that I have listened to thus far has been on point, and everybody listens to this podcast know I'm heavily into finances, so I learned a lot just listening to what because she got 15 years experience, y'all. So
Thank
you know what I'm saying, give her flowers while she's here. So we're gonna get right into it, man, because we are in a day and age right now where the economy, man, is in flux. And it's not looking too good. A lot of economists are comparing this to what happened in 2008 and said that it could be worse. I saw something that came across my phone today. Matter of fact, I think I still got it up, where Bill Gates actually said something that was pretty interesting to me. Here it is right here. Where he said that interest rates are going to get so high that that there may be a global economic shutdown. Not just U.S., not just a part, but the whole. Everybody might have to shut things down, right? They're predicting that gas may get up to $6.20 in the summertime, just because of what's going on with what's going on.
It's $6.20 in some places
now,
right now.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Look, I get gas from Shell. I get the premium 91 and shit, and that shit's $6.69.
Okay, let me for the 87 users, it may get up to $6.20. I ain't touched 91
Some
a day in my
places around
life.
Sac though are already like $6.
See, so
Yeah.
look, so this to me, this is right on time.
Yes.
This is right on time.
Yes.
Because people are looking for answers to their financial issues.
Absolutely. This is the thing though, and this is what's got me. Inflation is up, 8.4? It's almost 9% right now. And if we are all paying attention right now, home prices, rent prices, food prices, everything is up. And I know what you said when Bill Gates was talking about a whole economic shutdown. We're worse. I feel, this is me saying this, I haven't read anything, me feeling like we're already worse than where we were back in 2008. So I was still a baby, not a baby, but I was a young Gina during that time. And so our credit card rates have already surpassed where they've been. The credit card national debt, student loan national debt, all of those things being in the trillions where they are. Because when we first went into the recession of 2008, credit card debt, I believe, was at about maybe 3 trillion. Now we've way surpassed that. And student loan debt is where that is at. And so we already can't buy nothing. The rates are already so high. Things are going up so much. So it's like, where are we going with this? Have y'all ever been in a disagreement with somebody that's like, oh, at this certain age, you're supposed to buy a house. So like, say if you're in your 20s or your 30s, you're supposed to buy a house here at this time. I've argued with baby boomers because I'm like, okay, so back in your day when you was buying a house, what was your house? What, $90,000, $100,000? Average home prices out here right now are about $525, so $500,000. So you gonna really argue with me and tell me, oh, you need to purchase a house, or tell this person they need to purchase a house when how are they affording that? The only thing that's not going up is income. So when income isn't going right, so it's like, how are we supposed to buy the things that we need to buy? So in the stores, we already know if groceries are going up, how are we gonna buy that? Gas is already expensive as hell. How are we gonna get that? How are we providing ourselves with a living? A living. So of course, with everything that's going on, it's just showing us that there's nowhere else for us to really go. If things continue to go in this way, we can't do nothing but shut down.
Facts.
Yeah. Aren't they saying like in was it the Great Depression and shit? They were doing better than we are now?
I believe so.
They were saying something. I forget. Like it was something about the income percentage. Can't remember what it was, but for the most part, they are better off than we are.
Yeah. No, I think I did read something similar to that. I don't know exactly what metric they were referring to, but yeah, I think I did see the sentiment saying it.
I mean, and then also with supply and demand right now. I mean, how many shortages are we right now? They got baby formula that we're in shortage of, chicken
shortages as far as technology. Yeah.
So much. It's so many things. So I'm just like, all right, where are we really going from this? And I don't really know how many stimuluses that they're going to be able to send out to even get us out of these things. Like right now, home prices, I know since home prices have surpassed where they've ever been, and of course the rates are going up on that, there's come to a halt right now. So where else are we going with this? So something needs to be done. Now, I don't know what. Something. We got to stop somewhere at some point. So
no, yeah. To your point, rent in April hit an all-time high. Credit card debt in the U.S. hits an all-time high of $930 billion. So what you're essentially saying is that everybody is over-leveraged and things are getting more expensive.
And I want a correction. So student loan, I believe, is at 1.5 5 trillion. That's where I think student loans is at. I had to think about that for a second. I study student loan debt.
Right, right. And people, I mean, we're going to talk about it, but we can't depend on a president to say he's going to wipe it out.
Absolutely.
Because if it don't happen, then you still got to pay for it.
But this is the thing, and this is the one thing and I feel like if he doesn't, we're going to increase our chances of going into a recession because our spending power now goes down. Because if we're paying these student loans, how are we putting money into the economy?
Yeah.
So one of the two got to happen.
One of the two got to happen. The problem with that is if he does get rid of it, then inflation is going to go up even more. It's inflammatory. So what it should have been is this issue should have been tackled a long time ago.
Absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
Yes, I've talked to many people that say, I am not in a situation to buy a house because my student loan debt exceeds how much I would have been paying for a house, or it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and
Absolutely.
It's like that takes away from your buying power.
Absolutely.
So how do you expect me? So for one, you told me to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
I did go to school.
Mm-hmm.
I got my degree.
Yep.
Then I got a job where I'm not even using my degree.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're telling me to go buy a house. But then in some instances, the student loan debt is counted against you when you do go buy a house. In some instances I know that you can. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is that's still money coming out of your monthly budget that you could be using towards expenses or your house or your mortgage or whatever. And then, everything that we are taught to do is to borrow, buy a car, car payment, rent or condo or house, mortgage. Credit cards, phone, even your phone, you get on debt. You are borrowing the money because you're paying. It's an installed billing where you're paying for your phone $20-$30 a month until it's paid off, and then you trade it in, and then you get a new phone, and then you right back into the same thing.
So it's a debt cycle that you're in.
Yeah.
And going back to school, and school costs are going up. So your colleges out here, I will say, I thought it was so super dope to see that they pay for their community college. That was amazing. Oh, yeah. Everybody should start off at a community college.
Oh, hell yes.
If that's going to be the case. I mean, seriously. Yes. I mean,
get your
it's too expensive.
Yeah, get
University
your
costs, college costs, all of those things are just going up. So it's just throwing that in there.
No, that's a good point. I know that we're gonna get into the conversation, but I know that is one of the things that our generation has to get a grip on, especially in California, that if you don't got the money for your kid to go to a 4-year, go to a 2-year. And if they guilt trip you, oh well. This is what we can afford.
Absolutely.
And this is where you're going to go, and then you can transfer after.
Absolutely.
But if you don't got the money, you ain't got the money, because what ends up happening is then you go poor because you are trying to pay for schooling where they're taking the same exact classes they would take at a 2-year. And more times than not, half the time, the first 2 years in college, you ain't really serious about college.
Oh,
anyway.
no.
Don't even know what you want to do. Lots of people graduating and still didn't know what they wanted to do. I'm going to say this, too, when it comes to debt. Debt is generational, right? And when I say that, I'm meaning, I want to say it was back when Gen X. So Gen Xers are probably, I can't think of how old the youngest Gen Xer is.
Let me look it up for you.
Look up the generations real quick, okay? Because I'm a millennial. I'm pretty sure we're all millennials. And underneath us is the wires, right? So Gen X, baby boomers. Okay, Gen X. So
Gen X is 1965 through 1980. So right now they're 42 to 57.
Got it. Okay, Gen X has the most debt. That's from my studies. Gen X has the most debt, and because of when they were pushing them to when they start saying, "All right, y'all got to go to college," and then when credit cards were becoming popular, they were the ones that they were testing that out. Remember when we first got out of school, and soon as you go after school, they sending you, all right, Visa
Wells
statement,
Fargo,
Master, all of these banks and all of they tested that. We were like, I feel like the guinea pigs from Gen X on down, guinea pigs for debt. We're the ones who hold all of that. Baby boomers, silent generationers, like my grandmother, she's 93, she's silent generation. They didn't have debt like that. They paid for things in cash. We moved this to another place. This debt cycle thing, that started then. And it's something that I believe that we want to get out of, just because I'm looking at the rise of all of these people who want to preach financial freedom and all of these things. Yeah. But if the debt started there, they've pushed all these things on us. How are we going to get rid of the stuff that they've already pushed on us? So just another thought to think of.
It's not like they're going to be able to teach us how to get out of it and shit.
We've already because in some situations, and that's what I have to tell people, in some situations, it's just going to be looking bad for a while.
Yeah.
There's only so much. There's only so much money we're going to make unless you're going to find a way to make some more money.
Why would they stop something that's profitable?
You said what?
Why would they stop something that's profitable?
They not.
That's what I'm saying.
They not.
We got to stop it. It's a habit.
Correct.
It is spending and finances. It comes down to discipline and to habit. And I know, again, we're going to get into it, but I don't know if I had this conversation on this podcast. So I was a sales manager for a store. I'm not gonna list a store. Y'all gonna be hitting me up asking me questions. Look, I was a sales manager for a store, and we would get incentivized to sign up people for credit cards. Right? They would give us a kickback. So if you were approved, I believe we got $125 per approval, and we got $25 for a decline. So even if you signed up for one and didn't get it, we still got money, right? And then the statistics on it were, if you got the credit card, you were more liable to spend 3 to 4 times more with that card than would you do with your own money. So it incentivized us to get it because, hey, if you buy this, then you're going to buy all the accessories with it and a protection plan. And then it's 12 months, no interest. And then what ends up happening is they bank on you not paying it because as soon as 12 months and 1 day, all of that interest hits your credit card. And because of that credit card, you are now loyal to that store. You're not going to go to another store because it's like, I can either use my money or I can use their money. It's like, I'm going to use their money and I'll just pay it off.
And then they put you in that cycle.
Yeah. So it's incentivized.
Yeah, and then they'll tell you like what smart things to do with it is like if you don't have the cash, don't buy it because you can put it on the card still, get whatever discounts you get, and then just pay it all the way off.
If you're disciplined enough.
If you're disciplined enough, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people aren't teaching that.
And
They're
that's
like,
what finance. That's all finance discipline. But child, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. Man, all right. So this is gonna be one of them episodes. I can already tell. So before we get too deep, which it sounds like we probably did, but it's all good. Give us a rundown on your platform and what inspired you to create it, because I think it's dope.
Yes, and so the Mindfully Rich platform as a whole, I go by the Mindfully Rich coach. I started this just because I want to be rich, of course. Rich is also a part of my last name. I'm a mindful person. I'm very aware, self-aware of myself, others, feelings. I'm an empath. I'm very empathetic. And so I love practicing mindfulness in my everyday. So I said, why not call yourself mindfully rich? Because I want to mindfully be rich, but I want to be rich in every element of my life, not just in my finances. Just because, let's be real, we need money to pay for every single thing that we need to do in this world, okay? So back in the day when the elders was talking about money ain't everything, but it paid for everything. So let's not sit here and play. All right. I want to be in a good spot. I want to be comfortable. That's where I want to be. And so I started this platform because being a Black woman in the financial industry, you don't see a lot of people like me. Real. I'm from a suburb outside of Chicago. I say Chicago because I can and because I live 10 minutes outside of the city. But ever since that song is Not Atlanta, I always have to make I always got to make these little concessions to tell everybody, okay, this is where I stayed in proximity. But everybody know my suburb. I lived in Harvey. And so being where I'm from, being young in the financial industry, you didn't see a lot of people like me. I have rose to the top in the financial industry. So I started as a teller. I was a teller for 2 months at this credit union in Panama City, Florida. Okay. After that, they said, we love your personality. We got to put you on a desk. And you normally don't see stuff like that. I think I was like maybe 19 at the time. And so they put me on a desk. I started opening accounts for people. Then I was doing loans. And they were just like, oh my God, we just love you. I went on maternity leave for a little while. And then I went to another department. I did in the visa department, when everybody filing your wrongful disputes and all of those things. I didn't go here. You lying. You was there. So I did. Seriously. I got you on camera. What? It's you, right? So I did disputes for a while. I worked in collections for a while. I was the person who answered credit disputes. So when you was be lying and say, this ain't my account and I got to prove it. Oh my God, let me go in here and prove this to them. I was that person that did that. I've been a financial educator. So I've done lots of roles in the financial industry from both banks to credit unions. And so I said, let me take all of this knowledge that I've learned there and let me put this into something. Let me make this digestible for people, because I know being a Black woman, and especially from where I'm from, where we ain't talk about money, I want to make this something that's not taboo. I want to make this something that we can talk about more and make it in a truthful way. Because I know that there's a lot of people out there that's trying to educate people, and people be like, well, what makes you different? I don't know. I guess you got to trust and see. Or you can go look the stuff up yourself. One of the two is finna happen. All right. And so I wanted this platform to be genuine, unique, and also just have a different take on talking about financial topics. So that's the reason why I did it. And it started, I'm going to say, at 12 years old for me. Being where I was from, we didn't go out to eat. I didn't go out to eat until I was 12 when I went to start visiting my quote unquote rich cousins in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So when I went to go visit them, They used to send me on it. Let me just start there. They used to send me on an Amtrak train from Chicago to Grand Rapids, 4-hour plane ride. I'm not plane, 4-hour train ride out there. And when I got there, my cousins, who I just said, my cousin brothers, as I call them now, they had 2 parents. Parents were doing really good. My cousin, their dad, Mike, he worked at IBM, so he was making good money. Big old house, upstairs, downstairs, because that's how we referenced it when back where I'm from. Oh, you got an upstairs, downstairs?
No, we do it here too.
Bet. Okay, this is dope. Okay, 2 bathrooms, not just one. Like, I mean, I was all about it. Okay, so when I got there, and then we went out to eat just because it was Tuesday, I'm like, y'all ain't making salmon in the can? Yo, this the life. I need this in my life. And so it started there, and I was like, oh, y'all rich. Y'all rich. I want that. And so I literally keep that with me. That's my story. I mean, that's where it started, where I said, I want more. All right. You know, like the TikTok sound, I want more. But from then, I knew, all right, I ain't meant to live no peasant life, okay? Right. I'm going to go after what it is that I want. And so I feel like from all of the things that I've been given, all the gifts that God has bestowed on me, all the knowledge that I've gotten, I want to make sure that I'm giving that back to everyone else. So that's a long way to say why I started.
No, that's dope. That's dope, man.
Platform.
We're gonna be giving the chain sound all throughout that. Now that's dope. That's dope. And you obviously answered some of the next question I was gonna is what inspired you to that. So I think that you touched on a really good point. As just far as a lot of us learn about money through our personal experiences, right?
Absolutely.
And fortunately and unfortunately, most of the time it's built in your childhood.
Absolutely.
And, man, that it just we had a similar conversation about food that a lot of us, and unfortunately most of us in the Black community, develop an unhealthy relationship with food. We do. Based on how we grow up. And I believe the same thing with money. I'm thick now. I think it's the same thing with money. Whereas we can develop unhealthy relationships with money based on our personal experiences. So I want to go into that, and I want to lead that into the next question on how have some of your own personal experiences shaped the way that you look at money and finances?
Absolutely. Oh, so going from not having, so I lived in a household where we had more month than money. Y'all ever heard that term? More month than money. It was way too many days on that calendar than money than we had. Okay. When you waiting on that next paycheck. Okay. But I like my upbringings just because that has made me very humble in the day and age I live in now, where I have more money coming in. I will say this, for people who grew up not having nothing, when you start getting something, you do become a money hoarder from what I've seen. Just for me. You scared to spend some big money. You like, oh shoot, I can't do this. But on the flip side of that, I can say from my upbringing, it's like I had a black and white TV when I was 12. Right? So when me and my mom, we moved away from my grandmother's house and we had our own little apartment. And it was so funny, right? And I didn't get it at that time. It was just somebody's house and they had an upstairs, downstairs, and then they had like a door separating the two. We were in the upstairs and we were downstairs, and I had a black and white TV. And I was so embarrassed about that at 12. Because at 12, I mean, I'm not from the 60s or nothing like that. Okay, so when I say I got a black and white TV, that's embarrassing. So I didn't want that. So now I have way more TVs than I need because I didn't want that stigma that was on me, that embarrassment, that shame that was on me when I was 12, when I had that black and white TV. So it works in so many different ways, and that was from my upbringing. So what I will say is we don't have to be what we see. So although we may have seen I'm going to say some challenge money issues in our households, what are you going to do from that? So I saw in my household that my mom initially, she started off having a career, right? When she had the career, it felt more stable. When she just went to work in little petty jobs, I saw that we were unstable. So from me, that was a lesson that I learned, like, oh, snap, I got to get into a career. Right. I got to do something that's, career focused, just because these little jobs ain't gonna be what's it. Right. So I'm going to say a lot of the things that I've saw, I now talk about, like I use those lessons to talk about to people so I can be my own case study to people. So I'm not just sitting here giving you textbook. Right. I'm letting you know textbook alongside of the stories and things that have affected me and people who are close to me.
The experience. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How about you, Photo? How have your personal experiences shaped your views on money?
I mean, I didn't really... I only had like a allowance up until, after high school and shit, and then I had like a basic job, but it just never felt like never felt like enough. I always felt like I needed more, and that I realized was the mentality of lack. Right. So I always thought I didn't have enough. I always didn't have it. So it just caused me to my relationship with money was there wasn't enough. Right. And then, as a entrepreneur and doing photos and stuff and trying to work with people and just hearing all types of complaints about, the price being too high and this and this and that. And I'm like, man, Sacramento ain't got no money. Right. So I'm thinking about damn, ain't nobody got no money. So it's like, okay, ain't nobody finna pay like this much. You know what I mean? So that was more into the idea of lack instead of thinking of, there being enough and there being abundant enough, because then I would have been a lot better off if I understood that then. Like nobody was really teaching me, I mean, I got like somebody gave me the book, they gave me the Secret.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Everybody got The Secret at least once. At least they were,
Of course.
And then, it was an introduction of, law of attraction and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But
which is real.
100%.
Which is real.
100%.
Yeah.
So, but, The Secret only touched just the surface. You know what I mean? There was a lot more into detail with it instead of just, thinking about it. But like nobody ever told you how to think about it. Like where's the thought process supposed to come from and all that. So I was thinking about money, but it was like I was still thinking about it coming from the lack of it. You know what I mean? That was the issue. Instead of being like, I'm thankful for that. I instead of looking at it be like, I have what I need.
Right.
Right. Like right now, the bills that I need to pay aren't due today.
Right.
So I don't need to worry about it.
Right.
Let me think about it because I can't even pay the bill right now. You know what I mean? So why even trip of it? It's going to be happening. Because a lot of times we don't think about it like that.
Right.
And that's biblical also. I mean, not to take us to church and
No,
anything like that, but
I was thinking the same thing.
It's in the Bible, don't worry. I mean, you can't worry about the things that are going on today. I mean, just like they said, the birds in the Bible, I can't quote it specifically. It's in Matthew. But just like the birds ain't worrying about, all right, when am I going to chirp or when am I going to get my next meal and all these things. But we do that. We can't change anything that's going to happen, and we can't add any more to ourselves by worrying. So just want to add that.
So just that learning process was honestly a recent thing, so just kind of working on my relationship with money and how I understand money and how it works and how I view it. So that way, I remember that I love money and money loves me.
Yeah.
But with love, you gotta you can't grip it. You can't be holding on tight to it. You gotta let it flow.
And you gotta work at it.
You gotta work at it. You know what I mean? Because money's gonna come, but money's supposed to be spent.
I got you.
Money is supposed to be spent.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And being content with what you have.
Yeah.
I think if you're always focusing on what you don't have, then you're never going to be happy.
You'll never have it. Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's why you're thinking about the lack of it.
That's why attitude of gratitude is always so good. Because when you're appreciating the things that you have, you tend to welcome more. You attract more.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling to be in a continuous state of I have what I need.
Absolutely.
I'm not worried.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I know there's things that are going to come up, but when those things come up, I will be able to handle it.
There you go.
Because you never know what's going to happen. It's always works out. Even if it's late, even if something is due late, and you still end up handling it.
Yeah. Well,
That's
and be
word.
thankful for the ability
That's
to
a
pay
word.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think, man, what you guys are saying is spot on. I think being content. I think when you're talking about the fist thing, somebody taught me that a long time ago where they said that if your fist is closed, nothing can leave, but nothing can come.
Yeah.
That you have to kind of go in life with an open hand.
Absolutely.
Where you are willing to give, but you're also willing to receive.
Absolutely.
And so all this is good. All this is good. It is well overdue. I know y'all listening. This might be one of y'all favorite episodes.
Facts. And the one other thing that I when it comes to asking for the money is
Absolutely. Closed mouths don't get fed.
right.
Never.
But damn it, I forgot what it was. I literally just had it right there.
That's okay. It's gonna come back.
But it was just pretty much understanding of it was about money and how it flows. And
you're saying that you got to spend money and we got to be content and open hand.
Friends that do that is great.
You're going to switch over to your other consciousness.
That is so good.
And then your other consciousness
I'm going to have that shiver. I'm going to have that shiver. And it's like, oh yeah.
That was just one of those moments. See, your other self was over there talking about money somewhere and you picked,
Right.
Look at what's going on. Working together.
Just mix it all up. That's it.
I'm going to ask this question. It's not on the docket. but it just came to mind because I was listening to
the
your
spirit use
podcast,
you.
and I know that you open the transcript. If you don't want to answer it, then we're gonna go on to the next one.
Go
we
ahead.
ain't gonna force you. But I'm gonna ask this because we're gonna talk about dating and money later.
Okay.
And I think when we talked about our experiences molding how we look at finances, I'm gonna ask this question because a lot of people that are listening have probably gone through similar or are afraid that it may happen. We had a question last episode about divorce, marriage, prenups, having a stash account in case the nigga act up, right?
Yeah.
So I heard on your podcast that you have gone through a divorce.
I have.
So I want to we're not gonna get into the personal divorce. We're gonna just ask, has that changed how you perceive money and how you're going to view money in future relationships?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
Because
in my marriage, when I was one of those people, I'm green. My mom would say, my mom is deceased now, but she would say, you so green, you so trusting. When I'm with you, I'm a Capricorn. I just told y'all I'm a lover. I am your person. Okay. We in this together.
Right.
I didn't have any separate accounts. Everything that we were doing was together. I wasn't saving on the side anywhere. So when we went through the divorce, I didn't have no money. But he had his money. He had his stashes.
Oh, he was getting separate?
He had things. Yes, he had things that he had that were off to the side because I was because in this relationship, I didn't have to pay for anything. I wasn't doing anything. And this was 12 years of me not paying rent, me not having to do anything. I'm making money, but it's going into a stash together.
Right.
So I didn't have to worry about anything. It always just felt like money was everywhere.
Right.
We were together, we were great.
Right.
We were a great little couple. But from that experience, I did learn, yes, there can still be a power we have together because we're still building a life together, because I haven't counted that out, but I will have something that I am building too on the side for myself.
Right.
Yes, I absolutely will. And I believe that he should also have something that he's building as well.
Right.
I was listening to The Breakfast Club, and I heard Rashida and Kirk, they were talking about they both have separate, but they look at it. They look at each other's separate accounts. Now, I don't think we need to be doing all that. That doesn't even make sense to me. What's the point of us having separate if we still looking at each other's accounts and we still, No, I'm talking about something that you have on the side that you're building yourself, only because you never know what can happen. And this is the thing. When you divorce a person, you're not divorcing who you knew. You're divorcing the person that you didn't know. Not the person that you love. Not the person that you fell in love with. You're divorcing them because this is somebody you don't know. This is a stranger. Basically, who was that? Tamia? Stranger in your house?
In my house.
Absolutely. That's the stranger that, yes.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, that you have, because I've seen it so much, especially working in the financial industry where you have women and men. There are men who are house husbands who don't do anything, and their wife was the one that was doing everything, leaves them, and they're stuck. They didn't know what bills were being paid. They don't know what to do next. They don't have anything built up. When they're going out on that, bless you, when they're going out on their own to get their own place and start their life, they don't have anything. They didn't build their credit up because the other person was the one that had all the bills and things in their name. So I'm just going to say it's just good, period, just to have something that you're developing on the side. Not saying don't build something with your person. Yes, y'all can save up for the goals and dreams and aspirations that y'all have together and for your pot that you need to put into your household. But I truly do believe everybody needs to have something, because I went 12 years thinking bliss and then boom.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with it.
That's interesting. That's funny. Not really funny, but there's a girl. Yeah, there's a girl that I know who went through a very fast relationship. I mean, from meeting to the divorce was a year and a half. But they end up, she was already in the process of buying a house, right? She saved up and everything for the money for the house, and she ended up being with him. And then they ended up getting the house together. Like she put $30K down, and he put on a $5,000 deposit. And, right? Yeah. No, she stacked up. She had a good cool.
That was
situation.
just so off, 30 and 5.
Right.
Because she sounded like she had already planned the getting one with or without.
She was
But
stacking up.
they were on the house together?
They were on the house together.
Oh.
Right. So now they end up, the whole separation and all that and stuff. And based off, it was financial, because he even asked her, he asked her for money for a deposit for a down payment on a car. And she was like, no. She said no in the relationship. And I was like, that's understandable. That's your money that you racked up, and you guys just bought a house, like, why can't, where's his portion of putting the down payment on
Absolutely.
your car, on his car. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
there was a big issue. His dad even told her about, oh, you should have gave him the money. Da, 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 da. And next, you know, they am going to divorce. But they're trying to situate to where she's selling, like his family wants her to sell the house to them at a lower than market price, right? So it's like, yo, you guys are splitting a house. Now you guys got to split the equity on the house that you put most down on.
But see, this is the thing. And so they were married. So in cases like that, they're going into it. There has to be some type of agreement, mutual agreement going into it, because you can't come in out of it afterwards. And now we're going to hear the story. We like, oh my God, why he ain't put this or nothing like that. They had a mutual agreement. Now, I don't agree with selling the house to the people and them. I don't even believe in splitting the equity when the beginning money, but that's just my opinion. But that's the reason why it's good to have conversations with your significant other, just because if you feel like it's wrong at that time, it need to be wrong then and not just wrong after.
She's one of those women. She's been married before, and she was married for a long time, and then she ended up being with a family and stuff. So she has, I won't say dependency issues, but she's definitely one of those, like, I want to be married, I'm going to do what I need to do to be married type, and you know, you kind of get stuck in the bliss of it.
I get that.
You know,
Look,
especially that early.
I understand, but then you can lose. So bliss can leave you broke, and ain't nobody got time for that.
That's
no,
facts.
no,
That is facts. That is
no.
facts.
Don't be so blind. You got to go into. So that's the reason why when people are. When people were analyzing Mary J. Blige's situation with the prenup with her and Kendrick, I don't know his name, right? When they were looking at that, and I think she pays like something astronomical, like $61,000, $91,000, like a month.
And alimony?
Yeah. It's like a lot of money.
It is, yeah.
But what happened, he signed the prenup under distress. So the judge ruled out the prenup because he signed it, I believe, the day of the wedding. Y'all gotta look, when you are before you get in all of this, seriously, before you get, bliss can take over. When I tell you love is it's a drug.
It is.
All right. So before going into it, that's why the lesson that I've learned from before we get into this, all right, I want to make sure that what I come into this thing with, I'm going to leave with whatever you came into this thing, you're going to leave with whatever we build together, we can split. Not everything else that I got going on that I'm doing on no. Yeah. Because I truly believe that everybody needs to make sure no one needs to be doing bad after the divorce, but so many people are, because you don't go over those details because bliss is in the way and you allow love to just take over.
Well, and you're scared of having the conversation. And to me, if you're scared of having the conversation, then what you're subconsciously saying is money may be an issue in the future.
Absolutely.
So if it's going to be an issue in the future, then you need to deal with the issue at the beginning. Because what you're going to do is save yourself a whole bunch of time. To me, if you are scared to talk about anything with your spouse or potential spouse, then you shouldn't be getting married.
Absolutely.
Because we talked about it last episode. The top 3 reasons for divorce are sex, or infidelity, communication, and finances. Yep. So my thing of it is, before going in, those 3 things should be hammered out.
Absolutely.
And if they not, then you shouldn't be saying I do.
You should not.
You know, I know we differ on ideologies as far as the bank accounts and stuff like that, but I totally agree that you should have them conversations beforehand and be in agreement. And if you need a prenup, get a prenup. But you should be in agreement, just like you said. But y'all gonna have to learn to stop having these people sign these prenups on the day of.
Absolutely.
Because it will always fall under duress. It will always get thrown out in court because it's like, oh well, I felt pressured, or I felt I
had no clue that they could throw it out like that.
Oh yeah,
I said, shut up.
They definitely can. You need to be that needs to be signed before the wedding.
It does.
With witnesses and making sure that you are in agreement on everything that's on that prenup. Absolutely. So,
and you know, I know my theory can be, you know, just a little bit different, only because of what I went through.
Well, but that's why I asked that question, because all of our how we deal with money is all based on what we experience.
Absolutely.
Or what we've learned. But it's, even if we've learned it, we had to unlearn something.
Yeah.
Because that means we were doing something wrong and we had to find out that we were doing it wrong. So ain't no wrong answer to that. Ain't no wrong answer to that. Me and him got into a last episode about it. Yeah. But you know what? Listen, I'm gonna tell you this, and y'all gonna have to go back and listen to it. After I sat down and listened, I said, you know what? If that works for him, then that works for
Then
them.
that works.
If that works for them, that works for them.
I think it's a win-win when you can. Okay, I can save with you and save on my own too. What's wrong with that?
I'm gonna tell you where I come with the issue with that is, and then, again, it's just my thoughts.
Okay.
And it's my marriage, it's my relationship.
Of course.
So I'm not gonna put that on nobody.
Go ahead.
I just feel like in times, if I can't trust you with money.
How is that not trust?
Listen. I'm gonna explain it because I've seen situations where people have had separate accounts, and because there's been no overseeing of it or there's been no accountability, that they have done things that where they were opportunity that their spouse did not know about, as like cheating, like getting a hotel room and using the credit card or using the bank account or using the funds from their separate account, and their spouse never knew about it because there was no accountability, there was no vision. So to me, it's like everything, even if you want to have your own separate bank account, that's fine. But I feel like in your marriage, there should be some level of access to it. The same thing with your phone. And I'm not saying you should be going through your spouse's phone all the time, but I feel like if you are in a marriage, in a healthy marriage, and if your partner asks you a question that say, hey, look, I saw something that was a little bit funny. It should be, hey, look, you know what? Here it is right here. Here's the conversation just to ease your mind because maybe you thought something that wasn't going on. But when you start doing, oh, no, you can't. No, locking the phone. I've seen people in marriages put that privacy screen protector on their phone. And I'm like, for what? And if it's not, meaning at home, obviously at work, you can use it. But I'm just saying there's a lot of things get done in secret. And if you got to be doing all that stuff, you just shouldn't be married. But there's a lot of people that go into marriage with the right intentions. But like what you were saying, somewhere along the line, things do change. And usually and this is from my experience.
Of course.
When they become more secretive or start pulling away or start isolating themselves, it's usually because there's something internally going on that could lead to infidelity or could lead to some type of weird stuff going on where you transferring a little bit over to the bank account, transferring a little bit over to the bank account, and then by the time you look up, then they're ready to leave. Okay,
so this is what I'm going to say to that, and thank you for explaining that. I feel like the deeper issue of that is trust, not
absolutely.
Money. It's trust. So if you can't, and this is not you, I'm just talking to the people who listening, okay?
Right.
So if you can't trust the person, that's a deeper issue that needs to be dealt with because trust leads into all of those other areas, money, the phone, everything else. Because I feel like if trust is established with someone that you love, and I'm going to say, we saving this, or whether it's a percentage or it's an amount, but I'm also saving a percentage over here for me.
Right.
And if we establish that, then that's what I'm going to expect. And I have to trust that that's both what we're doing. Unless there's it only becomes a problem when the person starts cheating. Because it's cool until the person starts cheating. But if we have to worry about you going into infidelity, then that's a problem that I just can't trust you. And so this just ain't going to work as a whole.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily have to correlate.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like them saving money off to the side does not necessarily have to correlate.
And again, I wasn't saying that.
No, but that's a good example, though.
I wasn't saying correlate. I'm just saying.
But it's like, shit, I might want to buy you something that you're not
because that definitely happened to me. But go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just saying that I think we have to, and I'm not saying not to be trusting, but I just think where there is opportunity and where you are doing, I mean, even with, I was gonna say teenagers. This is all adult stuff.
Yeah.
I think our society has learned to do a lot in secret. And I think we carry that sometimes into our relationships, whether it be addictions, whether it be pornography, whether it be you so used to talking to 5 or 6 different people that when you finally get in a monogamous relationship, you say that you stop talking to that people, but you really still talking to them on the side, or you get into an argument and then you hit up your ex. I just think there's too much secrecy, and I believe. Again, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
I believe if you are saying I'm going to share the rest of my life with you, to me everything is open. If it's my bank account, my phone, my whatever, that's just me. But I do believe that you should be an individual, and you should have things that you are striving for doing. So I have no issue with the separate bank account. I just feel like your partner should have access to it, if need be, and that's just me.
You brought up something. This wasn't on my docket to say either, but now I want to say it. I'm just playing.
No, it's good information. This is an honest conversation.
So in marriage, because you are one, and this is something that I've learned, that I still have to keep a piece of my individuality only because
absolutely
I'm going to turn into somebody that you don't know. I'm going to turn into a stranger. If now my whole world is, say, my spouse, my person that I'm going to be with, but I still got to have some interest outside of you just to still make me the spicy person that you wanted to be with.
Absolutely.
Because when you change that, then, and I know that y'all probably have seen this before, that person becomes boring when all they doing is just what you do today. What's going on? What is it? It's just it takes the spice out of things.
Absolutely.
And so I just feel like it's just a trust thing. I feel like ultimately the world battles with their integrity as a whole. All of that, what you just said, feels like an integral thing. But if we establish, going back to money, we establish I'm doing this over here, I'm doing this. If you need to see it, bet, that's cool. You ain't on it though.
Yeah.
But if you need to see it, because going back to the one thing, because I'm all with the one thing.
Yeah.
Even though I went through pretty harsh divorce, I still want marriage again.
Yeah.
You know?
And that looks different for different people. Mm-hmm. And I think that model, I don't see nothing wrong with that model because it's communicated and it's expected and then it's agreed upon. And as long as it's agreed upon between the two parties, I don't see an issue with it. I think what becomes an issue is when you start feeling like your individualism starts getting taken away, so you got to do things in secret. And I think I've seen that more often than not, where it's like, again, it's kind of like a slippery slope where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna keep this secret, and then it's like, okay, I told I'm gonna save this, and I think this goes back to the relationship that comes to money when you grow up. Like I've been in a relationship with a person that when they grew up they had nothing, nothing at all. Right. And then when they started getting into money, then it was like, I'm going to use this to make up or to overcompensate for what I didn't have. So it became super irresponsible where buying TV.
I am overcompensated for.
Where, you know what I mean?
I got all the TVs.
Well, and it becomes a thing where then when you try to hold that person accountable or try to reel them in, then it's like, you're trying to take away my individuality. It's like, no. I'm just trying to hold you accountable. Just trying to hold you accountable to what we agreed upon. And then it starts feeling like that little child again, where when I ask for something, then it's a no. When I ask for
was that person not putting into the pot though? Because this is the thing. This and for me, especially with the TVs.
Right.
I'm a worker bee.
Right.
I'm working for all the stuff I got.
Right.
And the stuff that I'm bringing into the table.
Right.
Okay. Because this person got it, so everybody need to be bringing their tables to the table.
They should be bringing their tables to the table. Sure. But there's some people that feel like when, again, they are being deprived from wanting something or getting something that may not also agree with it, then that oneness and the individuality kind of start to clash a little bit. Because I think they should work in harmony.
Yeah.
That I want you to be an individual, so that way when you come to being one, that you're whole. Yeah. But if you bringing some brokenness where, for instance, so my mom, my grandfather, obviously, he would come home from a hard day work and checkbook. If the checkbook was imbalanced, it was hell. He would go off on everybody. Oh, why are you spending all this? Why are you spending all that? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? So when she got married, anytime that my dad asked her about what was going on with the money, instant. Why are you asking me that? Why are you doing it? Because it brought her back to that same place. So as I'm saying, we can be an individual, but if you bringing some of that brokenness into the marriage, then it's a trigger when it shouldn't be a trigger. You know what I mean? Like, you had a bad relationship with money because if the money wasn't right, then you got chastised. So then in your marriage, then it's like anytime it's even a question, then it's like, oh, now you chastising me when it's not. No, I'm just asking because as the head of the household, as a husband, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
So what that sounds like is some trauma that people bring into their money life as a whole, you know, and we're talking about mental health, you know, and so those are some things that people really do need to talk to somebody about. Just because that's trauma.
And talk to their spouse about it.
Talk to their spouse.
I think
they should talk to somebody together, especially for an issue, something like that. That feels so that way they can get to that root. I'm big on roots of problems.
Some marital. I'm a big proponent of pre-engagement counseling. I know a lot of people haven't heard about that. And premarital counseling, both.
And counseling while y'all married,
and counseling while you married. But still,
but
also being aware of those triggers, because now, you know, obviously she's aware of it now. Just telling that person, hey, look, because of what I went through in my childhood, when you do this, this is a trigger. And then let's figure out a more healthy way to maybe ask that question. So that way, until I get more comfortable in that line of question. You know what I mean?
Which goes back to communication, which is something that a lot of people struggle with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you kind of gotta, you can't, battle generational curses if you can't even deal with your own curses.
That's right. Absolutely.
It'll be on it.
Dropping.
I'm just saying.
No, that's
you know,
good.
that's real because it's like, you know, you thinking about like all the things that happen from generations and shit, but you can't even deal with, you know, the things that you got to fix for yourself because like I said, if you can't fix your relationship with money, you can't fix your generational wealth. Absolutely. You can make as much money. You can do all the things you want that's bringing in the money and shit. But if you're not handling your money the proper way, then what are you really doing?
Well, yeah, and we were talking about money is a behavioral thing, and I think it's a byproduct of some of your integrity or some of your, you know, what else is going on behind the scenes. I don't think sometimes when people say that it's a money issue, it's not really the money issue. It's the behavioral issue. It's the maybe the impulsiveness. You know what I mean? Like if you got to always buy the latest and greatest thing every time you see it, that's not a money issue. That's a discipline. I'm lacking. It makes me feel better. It gives me an ego boost.
I was just gonna say ego. It's the ego driven thing.
Yeah.
And like, damn, that's probably why
and emotions. I mean, emotions.
That's probably why I keep going on these damn dates.
Okay.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna need you to hold on.
Beg your pardon.
You really was thinking too, like it's probably the reason why. It got to be the reason why.
Think about it. You know, I'm like, I like doing things. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of my overcompensation of you know money is that like before I wasn't able to take nobody on like no nice dates and nights to eat and shit.
You could do free dates.
Yeah. I know that.
Cool.
I know that, but it's like I think it's hard for me to think about that, especially being as though I'm so used to like now it's like the expectation is that I'm going to be paying for this date.
The expectation from who?
Myself.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's something you got to do.
I ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but it's like it's hard because like no, I should be spending this damn money.
So okay, so let's unpack that, King. So why do you feel like you have to overspend?
Right.
I don't know. I didn't say overspend, but it's
why does it have to be so grand for, especially if these are first dates? Like, why does it have to be so grand?
Yeah, I guess that's the question.
Active dates are really good.
They are. Oh yeah, they definitely
are
are.
really
like
good.
I had a nice hike date.
That is
a nice hike date.
Yeah.
You know, nap dates are cool too.
Okay.
But a lot of people ain't got their own spots.
Nap dates.
Ladies.
Not the first ones. I'm gonna say not the first one.
Oh, okay.
Not the first one. Not the first
I'm about to say.
I mean, unless we've been cool and chopping it up for a cool minute, it's like, hey, what you doing?
Yeah,
you know,
no,
just
that's
chilling. It's like,
yeah,
all right, you
that's-
know, let's go over to the house. And, you know,
That's a little bit later down the line.
right? Later down the line. You know what I'm saying? But
So do you feel like you have to impress other people? Do you is your image or what people think of you important?
yes.
So do you think the amount of money you spend is what leads is a byproduct of that? Where I want to make sure I leave a lasting impression.
No.
No?
It's really look.
That was a good question though.
It's a good question. I have no problem with taking somebody to Scandia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Scandia is fun, no matter how broken
Did you
down.
say
Scandia.
Scandia Fun
What's
Center,
that?
where you do like the go-karts.
I thought you said skating. Take us skating.
Skating too.
Yeah, skating too.
Yeah.
Skating
love
too is
skating. Go
cool.
ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, let's see what we do. We'll see. I've done hikes, Dave and Buster's,
Miniature golf, right?
miniature
Top
golf.
golf.
Yeah, top
Yeah.
golf. You know, there's a lot of places to do.
I would think, and especially, okay, if it's first dates, and I'm glad that we're here. If it's first dates, why let it be something that don't cost a lot of money? Just because you don't know if you want on a second date with this person,
Yeah,
you
valid.
just don't know. So
valid.
I wouldn't even look for that to be like the grand. Let the grand be for the person that you really
Oh
like.
no!
That you
When we talk
really-
about grand, we talk that's start to like trips and
Okay.
you
Yeah, no, he's a
Okay.
lover
like
boy over here.
oh
Yeah.
100%. Like I'm the type to where it's like I want to spend a day to you in
Picnics
Frisco.
are really good,
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah,
Those-
I was
I
thinking
mean,
about it.
see,
I was
like
thinking about
little
picnics
stuff like
and shit. Just be
that.
it's
Yeah.
timing.
I've always looked at it that the first date should be more conversational and should be on a more
Go on a walking date.
chill vibe. So that way, then you can see if this is, and then on the second or third date, maybe I can step it up and maybe we can do
Yeah.
dinner or whatever. Because I may not like you, you may
Escape room.
not like me on the first initial, just to see
didn't
if
like
just to
escape
see if there's
rooms.
some chemistry. Because then I'm like, for one, I'm mad that we don't click, and then I'm also mad that I spent all this money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you
And
know,
you don't want to be there. They don't want.
no,
I had an episode about that.
and there are women that do the serial dating where they just go on the first date, they get their food, and then they out. So no, you ain't.
See, I
gonna
can't
be
even do that. If I don't like you, it's
there.
gonna show on my
well,
face.
especially with this economy where it's going, there might be some more of that.
I don't
going
need you
on.
to feed me. I'm fine.
Remember, didn't Steph say that she knew somebody that they used to do that and then ask for?
Oh, no, it's definitely
ask for
going
a doggy
on,
bag
child.
and then take the doggy bag back to tell like the roommates.
Yeah.
Nah, you ain't do. I ain't feeding the whole house.
Yvonne Orgy on her special, she talked about going on dates because when she needed money, she was talking about all the dates that she was going on just because she knew she would get her a meal.
Yeah, see.
So yeah,
We ain't got it like that. Like damn.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah, we ain't doing that. It's come on, go ahead, Dr. Umar, talk to him, man.
I'm telling you, consciousness over coochie, politics over punani.
You know what's up.
That's funny.
Now it was good. I think this is good. I mean, for those that are listening, we're just sharing our opinion, but y'all gotta have these conversations.
Seriously.
Because and we talked about it before. We just think that these words are common, and we feel like everybody believes the same thing we believe. Like I think that we broke that down with love. If you say, "Oh, I'm looking for love," it needs to be follow up. What kind of love?
Right.
What love have you seen?
And what do love mean to you?
Right. What love have you experienced? What love have you experienced growing up?
Yes.
Because your version of love may be totally different than my version of love. Same thing when it comes to managing money. When somebody says, "Oh, I'm big on managing money," what does managing money look like to you? Because managing money may look like everything's on a credit card to you, and it may look like for me that I'm cash free and I do cash and carry and I don't have no debt.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like we gotta start having these deeper conversations because it does boil down to your values, what you believe, and like we said before, your behaviors. And if you don't have them questions up front, man, it's gonna be a rocky road.
And how you gonna mix with that? Exactly. You know, you need to know that off top. I get that you like the person, but especially when it comes to managing money, because a lot of people with managing money and money being one of the top things that people are getting their divorces for, you need to know, all right, is this going to be something we're going to be able to do? Because if not, all right, let's cut our losses right now.
Facts. Speaking of which, we know that you get a lot of clients that ask you for coaching.
Yes.
So how do you best help your clients unlearn some of the unhealthy habits that we're talking about that they have learned in relation to the money that they are managing?
So it first starts off with a commitment from them to want to unlearn those things, because a lot of people, there are people, not a lot of people, but there are people who will sign up for something and they're not ready to do what's necessary. We only make one income, and then you have your expenses, you have your debts, right? So if you're not willing to stop any of these expenses or pay down any of these debts, okay, so what I'm working with, right? You know, so it's one of those things where money, sometimes we make it turn into chemistry. It doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be so complex just because we make income. If you're going to go up on income, that means that you can start filling that with other things in your life, whether that's savings, your goals, aspirations, whatever it is you want to do. But if your income is low and then you see that your expenses and your debts are already taking up a lot of your money, okay, what else is there to do? We have to decrease somewhere. Yeah. So people have to they have to want to. So that's what I go over with my clients. You have to want to change. All right. We're also going to talk about ways where can you increase. Right. But we need to also make sure that we're looking at ways that we can decrease. And I just want to get my people familiar with, you want to have a good relationship with money, because in every single relationship that we have in our life, it doesn't work if we're not communicating. So your money communicates with you all the time. That's right? True. So when you see the money that you get in your bank account, right? Whatever that money is, it's communicating. Yo, this is how much you got. Right. When you start going over, you are not listening to your money no more. Okay? You're not listening to your money. No. Your money told you, we only got 50, but you went out and spent 200. What do you want me to do? All right. Then you start cheating on your money with a credit card. So when you start cheating on your money and you was like, credit had what I needed at that particular time, and you didn't plan on it. It just happened, right?
Treating the credit card like a side chick.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And a lot of people are doing that. And a lot of people are doing that. So what I do is I sit down with my clients and I want to figure out what is their goal. What is your realistic? And that's the key word. What is your realistic goal? And that's what I want to help them achieve by giving them some tools that they can utilize, some new perspective that they can have to reach the goal that they're trying to achieve.
Sheesh.
What's in your wallet? My side card.
Do you think people feel entitled to these things? Is that why they overspend?
I feel like social media has messed us all up, right? I graduated from high school in 2003, just to tell my age a little bit, right? We didn't have social media. We didn't have, Facebook wasn't even out yet.
We had MySpace.
MySpace.
Twitter, too.
Not in 03.
Yeah. I was 04.
Not in 03?
Yeah, I graduated 04. MySpace was definitely
MySpace was out.
MySpace was definitely
okay, so I didn't have a MySpace. I didn't have a MySpace. I was married. Check this out. I didn't get on social media until after I went through my divorce.
You know what? MySpace did not have that much of an impact. when it comes to like
I don't
MySpace
think it
wasn't
did
a flex.
I don't think so
flexing.
either.
Maybe for you.
It had to. But were you really seeing all across the world all of these people
I
like
got
how
what you're
they're
saying. I got what
living
you're saying. I
and
got what
all
you're
of
saying.
this, and you're feeling like, oh, I gotta.
Yeah.
You feel pressure
No,
to.
you're right.
I gotta live up to the Joneses or the new phase, the
You're right.
Kardashians.
You're right. As
you
far
know,
as what you're saying now, you're right.
Yes.
You're
And
right.
so it was one of those. I feel like social media, not MySpace though, Instagram, Facebook, where you
Right.
start seeing everybody everywhere, and then
Yes.
you'll see people in your age group, and you like, well, how they got that car, and how did they do this, and what they doing to get blah blah blah, and this, that, and the other, and then you like, these are some unrealistic standards because now you're looking at whatever chapter it is that they're in, because they can be just, flogging on the gram, or they could just be acting like they got it when they really don't, renting it,
showing
whatever
their
the case.
best.
Correct.
Everybody's showing their best.
Correct.
Yeah.
They're not showing the bills that they got from going into debt or things like that. But that's not what people see.
Yeah.
You just see what's on there, and you're looking at yourself sometimes, and you're like, dang, well, how can I be there? So what I teach my clients is emotional spending, right? Emotions. So that's the name of my ebook. Y'all better not take it. It's Emotions Make You Spend Sometimes. y'all take the name. I'm from Chicago. I found you. All right. So emotions make you spend sometimes, because I love H-Town. And so
They do. Emotions do make you spend.
think about
That's
it.
true.
So think about when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're feeling lonely, when you're feeling envious, when you're feeling jealous, when you're any of those emotions. Most of the time, people take those emotions and they want to go out and they want to go spend.
Retail therapy.
Right.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, but that's not the root. And that's the thing that you can always hear me say. I should have been a therapist. You got to get to the root of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Your problem is you're feeling lonely, not you need to go out and go buy some new clothes or some new shoes. Your problem is you're sad because of X, Y, and Z happened. You deal with that, not using that as retail therapy to go spend stuff and take yourself into debt.
Yeah, because you're going to still deal with them feelings after you
Absolutely. And then what you going to do? Keep going. Every time you feel an emotion, we feel emotions all the time.
Yeah.
We're just gonna just spin up.
Yeah.
You gotta
Run
just
it up.
disconnect your emotions from money.
Or just have a better relationship. with money.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, have a better
and respect
relationship.
your money enough to know, okay, this ain't what I'm gonna do. So then establishing. So that's the next thing. Establishing what you're going to do when you're feeling these things.
Yes.
When I'm feeling lonely, I need to get in front of some people.
Yes.
I need to be with my people. I need to hey, y'all, come on, let's go do something.
Yes.
Okay? Not something spending money. Let's just all get together. Everybody come to my house.
Yeah.
All right? If I'm feeling sad, what am I feeling sad about? Let me dissect. I told y'all, deep person.
No, it's
What
true.
am I feeling sad about?
Yeah.
Okay? Is it grief? All right. Am I sad because someone's not my friend no more or something like that? Or I'm feeling like, or am I feeling less than?
Right.
If I'm feeling less than, I'm going back to all my accomplishments. Look, you didn't made it. You didn't did this, that, and the other. Right now, whenever I'm feeling less than, I'm like, yo, you got 100% comeback rate because I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So when you look at the emotions that you feel and you look at the emotions that make you spend the most money, acknowledging that, so that way you can say, what am I going to do in the place of me spending money?
In a healthy way. Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's bars. That's bars. I've been saying that for the longest. I feel like we are in the dopamine grabbing generation. Where no matter what we feel, we are looking for something
It's
to boost our
microwavable.
dopamine.
It's like this.
It is. It's that a dopamine fix. Oh, I feel bad. What can I do to boost my dopamine? Get on Instagram. How many people liked it? How many people commented? If I can't do that, I'm gonna go buy me a new something. I'm gonna buy me a new purse, buy me new shoes.
Absolutely.
But then you still got to deal with those emotions and feelings after the fact, and it doesn't. And we're gonna get into the Kendrick album because he actually talks about that a lot on there. Talks about how money did not soothe his ego, how he still had to deal with all the emotions and stuff he dealt with even after he was rich and famous. But man,
What's the movie? Because y'all seem like y'all watch a lot of movies too. It's a animation movie where they were talking about the feelings and emotions.
Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you saw how Happy kept trying to keep her happy all the time. But then she had to go through that emotion so that she can have her breakthrough. And sometimes we don't be wanting to have those breakthroughs. So we sit in that dopamine loop. I just got to be up.
That's pretty much the same thing with people who can't be alone.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because they can't deal with their own
They don't want
emotions
to.
And they have to do something else.
See, and that's why this pandemic was so tough.
Shit.
Because you had to deal
I
with
loved it.
yourself. You couldn't go outside.
I was
Well, some people was going outside.
Some people was. I wasn't.
But for the most part, you had to sit and think and deal with yourself. You could not go to work. You could not go outside. You could not travel. You could not shop.
I had a great time.
Yeah, that's why that pandemic was rough on a whole bunch of people.
Honestly, I miss not having to
Me
go
too.
anywhere.
I spent way less money. Let me tell you what. I saved so much money.
Oh,
You spent a lot of money?
I saved.
I saved so much money.
I sure did.
I was so like,
made a lot.
I said, shut this place down again.
I made a lot.
2 more years now.
I got my stimulus checks.
Oh
I
my
wasn't spending money on
goodness.
gas.
Oh
my
my
insurance went down.
Everything was down.
Oh shit! No, what fucked me up at the beginning was the fact that as soon as I got my stimulus check, I ended up having my engine blew. So I had to put that. I start renting out cars every like for a whole month at a time.
Yeah.
I'm damn near spending. I was spending a note and insurance on the rental, like $1,200 to $1,500 a month. But then I was situated to where like I wasn't getting EDD money or PPP money.
Right.
I was getting everybody else's.
Yeah,
Because they was paying the
they
hell out of
they
it.
got stimulus.
They got theirs, and now they look. It
worked out.
The pandemic helped me get my car,
Come on.
cameras,
See?
laptop.
Look at the gratitude
Look.
that's coming through from all of this.
You know what I'm saying? I was like,
Yes.
look, I love that. Was like it was definitely
It was a
my
good
best.
time. Shut
fiscal
this
year.
place down again.
You feel me? I was like, hey, you know what?
I'm
Let's
fine
go
with
back to that. Let's go back to that. We'll figure it out. Don't trip.
Wasn't no damn traffic. I was just getting
Right?
10, 20
Gas that went down to
Yeah.
like $2.70 or something. It was look,
DoorDash was getting that bread though. For sure.
right?
DoorDash was getting
Them
that
and
bread.
Instacart, because I ain't go to no stores. I was like,
Man.
Instacart me.
Let's keep the gyms open though.
Yeah, that was a little rough. That was a
Keep
little
the
rough.
gyms open.
All right.
I'm about to have a conversation with myself.
We all got
I have a date with money real quick.
Okay,
know.
so we talked about
Make
your
my
clientele. For the people that are listening, that their interests have been piqued.
Yes.
What is some of the best advice that you can give someone who may be listening that is struggling with money right now?
I would say, so it's going to be 2-part advice. Figure out what you really want to do in life. I feel like some of our unhappiness in life comes from us not really liking where we're at or what it is that we're doing. And I'm going to say that's something that was a lesson that I had to learn. Figure out exactly what's my purpose here. Right? What is it that I want to do? Because I truly feel like when you're doing what you love, money it just attracts to you.
I agree.
It just does.
I agree.
Because you're helping people, money is just going to come to you. That's just how I feel about that. For the person that is struggling with money right now, you have to figure out what is the root problem of that, right? Why are you struggling, right? Am I spending too much money? Because it's not just all of these, it's not an infinite amount of just things that are happening.
Absolutely.
It's a few things. You're not making enough money, you're spending too much money, or that's it. I had to think about it for a second. You're either not making enough money or you're spending too much money. All right, if you're not making enough money, are you going to change your position in life? Are you going to increase yourself in some type of way? Are you going to start a side hustle if you're already in a career? Are you changing careers? You're going to go after that promotion, whatever it is. If you are spending too much money, say like regular expenses, all right, what are you spending your expenses on? Why are you spending so much money there? Can you cut there? If it's debt, why are you going into so much debt? You know, have you been cheating on your debit card so much that you moved over to your credit card so much? Now you in so much debt and you just don't know what to do. Yep. You know, is it emotional? What is the root problem? Because you can't do anything if you don't attack what the root problem is.
Absolutely.
And that's whether you're not making enough or you're spending too much.
Yeah.
So you got to start there.
And you know what's crazy is I think people like what you're saying is absolutely true. People don't even get to that point because they don't even track where their money's going.
Mm-hmm. They're not looking at it. They don't want to see it. I'm like, how you not know where your money is going?
Yeah, to me that's so crazy because I've always been taught that. So when I came across people that didn't do it, they would say, I would ask them, I say like, hey man, I'm having money issues. I'm like, all right, so where's your money going?
Right.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the problem. I said, if you start writing down how much you're spending and where your expenses are, I guarantee you will find where you can start cutting that.
You just missed something so good. Okay, so I'm old school. I grew up with my grandmother. Like I said, she's 93. So they used to write things down, right? And so I'm a person who writes down stuff. I'm the person who keeps like a little booklet so I can write down what's going on. Now, I may not write down everything I spend because I check my register online banking. Sure. But a lot of people, they don't do that.
Right.
And when I'm writing things down, it feels really real to me. So even when I'm planning out my budgets, a lot of people, that's the B word that people don't say enough. yourself.
needs to be started
budgets.
at.
All right. You need to budget. Every single thing has a budget. All right. The jobs that people work, they got a budget to pay you a salary.
Yes.
The government, if the government budget ain't right, they shutting that thing down. They don't even care. They don't, oh, you got to take a flight somewhere. We don't care where you want to go. Our budget is off.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like, if all of these places can put budgets in place, and it's so important, why aren't we honoring that in our own lifestyles?
Yeah.
We want a certain lifestyle. We want to live a certain lifestyle. You know, that's what that Young Thug who said that.
Yeah.
Young Thug. Okay.
He
So
ain't
I'll try to
living
figure it out.
lifestyle now.
He not. Okay. He not. Okay. But if we want to live the lifestyle, if whatever the lifestyle it is that someone wants to live, you have to make sure that you budget that out. You have to plan for that. We cannot play around with our futures and our lifestyle just by trying to just throw spaghetti at the wall. You have to make sure, make it plain. I mean, that's in the Bible too. You know, write the vision, make it plain.
Write a vision, make it plain. Whew, sheesh. You gotta have a plan for your money,
Absolutely.
or else your money's gonna plan for you. Yeah, and you ain't gonna like it.
Yep. And that plan is just for you to be broke.
Facts.
And that ain't the life that we supposed to live. We supposed to have abundant. God, I know I take it back to the Bible all the time. And I'm a holy heathen. I don't want nobody to, somebody hear this and they
It's
be
just-
like,
it's all principle.
I heard
It's all
Gina,
principle. It's principle.
You
It's
probably
principle.
have, but but we are supposed to live exceedingly and abundantly good lives. We're supposed to prosper, right? Not sit here and live broke lives. So we have to do the work that's needed to make sure that our budgets are in place, our money is in place, so that way we can live the life that we want to live.
Absolutely. 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 We're gonna give you a round of applause.
Thank you.
Killed that. Killed all them questions.
Thank you.
So yeah, so if y'all want to get some one-on-one or group coaching, hit her up. Mindfully Rich podcast. We're gonna tag. We're gonna trust me. You guys gonna see all the little clips and all the posts on there. If you're on the www.reverbexp.com, she will actually be tagged to the episode. So her guest profile, social media links, all that. So go to that if you want to get to her, book a session. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, because I've heard people say this, and I've heard people say, like, well, why would I want to pay somebody to help me with my finances? I'm telling you, if you get a financial coach, specifically Miss Gina, the money you're spending on the session, you will get that back and then some in the money that you're saving on the budget or the plan that she
Absolutely.
put into. So it is an
Absolutely.
investment into yourself. And if you're struggling, especially, I'm telling y'all, if y'all ain't read the tea leaves, and if you have not read what economists or Bill Gates or some of these other people have been saying, a recession is around the corner, and you do not want to be stuck like what happened in 08. And I'm not telling you, I'm just giving y'all fair warning that you need to get your money situated now, before there is a recession. Because we don't know what that recession is going to look like. This is the first time that we've had a pandemic, then we had stimulus, then we've had inflation look the way that it is, and we have not had the housing market has not busted. There's just a lot of, when grandma or auntie make that gumbo, she let it marinate and she cook it and it starts smelling good.
It's in a pot right now and it's boiling over.
This crock pot that is the economy is not looking too good right now.
It's not.
Because
Not good at
all of the growth that we saw was facade money. It was fake money that was printed by the government.
It
and
was.
just like you put your credit card, at some point in time, the bill will become due. And we going and what's going to happen is we going to the ones that's going to have to be in the paying the bill. So I'm just people need to just be proactive about your money.
You want to know, you've heard the saying that the fish stinks from the head down, right? The government is in debt, right? So with the government being in debt, and you just mentioned something, the government printing out paper, play money basically to give to us for all these stimulus. Because we ain't got no money. We in debt. Okay. So it's like people see that and they're like, well, the government's in debt. So why would not be in debt? And all this, the government filed, all of these different places, these businesses that filed for bankruptcy, everybody's in debt. You don't have to be in debt.
You don't got to be.
Or you can get a plan for yourself. So that way you can make sure that you are securing yourself from something that can add up to be way worse when this recession that we know is boiling that's coming.
Well, I forgot what the percentage was, but it was something crazy where it said I think it was 97% of Americans are one paycheck away from, or it was one emergency away from living paycheck to paycheck,
absolutely.
or it was something like that. I don't want to quote the wrong.
I get my numbers from the Financial Health Network. They're located in Chicago. They do a lot of studies, and they classify it as financially vulnerable. And I believe it's over. So this is last year's study. I believe it was over. Oh, shoot. I can't think of it. I want to say it was somewhere between 72, but I think it ended up being like 108 billion Americans they live paycheck to paycheck already. So paycheck to paycheck, meaning everything I have coming in is the same amount of money that's going out. So of course, if something come up, you get sick, you got to pay a bill, a random bill that comes out. I mean, you shout. That's it. And so a lot of people haven't started developing, say, an emergency savings or built that, because there's different savings. That's the thing that I teach. There are savings categories. I don't believe that you should save in one pot. I don't like that. Right. If you've ever just saved in one pot before and you got to take some money from it, it always look bad. I'm like, what did I buy here? So you have the emergency, the traditional savings that Dave Ramsey would talk about, where you're saving, I think, 3 times your income, 6 times your income, or your expenses, whatever it is that the person decides.
Like 3 to 6 your monthly.
Emergency fund is 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, 3 to 6 months. And so just depending on the person. So say like entrepreneurs, like 6 months.
I say something like what, 6 to 8.
I mean, and this is the thing. Go all the way up, you know, go up as high as you want, and you would like, especially to feel safe in a position where you're not making money. Yeah. Right. And so I feel that you should be saving for all of those things, your emergency fund. And we shouldn't just work and don't have no place, save for vacations, save for the things that are around you that you know that you're going to have to pay for. If you own a house, you know that when something happens, you're going to have to pay for that. All right. It doesn't have to always be that you going to, let me borrow some money for this home equity loan. Right. Let me have a savings for that. When stuff break down, your cars and something happens around the house. If you got kids, okay, stuff is always happening with kids. So go ahead and have those things. So I teach having your different savings and breaking it down into savings categories so you can treat your life almost like how businesses, you have these different expenses income that goes into these different savings funds for your life.
Facts. Yeah. And this is 2021. So I think I said it's like 97%. I knew I was wrong. But it says this is 2021, so it may have gotten worse. Just 39% of Americans could pay for a $1,000 emergency expense. Fewer than 4 in 10 people have enough savings to pay for an unexpected $1,000 expense in cash. The rest would have to borrow, use a credit card, or take out a personal loan. While the pandemic has set back emergency savings, many people are optimistic their finances will improve in 2021. Well, we're in 2022.
Absolutely.
And it has not. So,
and that was a key word that you said, in cash. In cash. That's the biggest word there.
Absolutely.
Because lots of people, they can't. And so that's what I'm here to do. And that's something that I love to do. And I have one-on-one coaching, but I also have my group programs as well. So I have one starting in June for budgeting and savings. And I also have one for credit and those who are preparing themselves for lending. So like to purchase, say like a big purchase or so.
So we will share that on our page. But again, we encourage you to go follow her page to get updated to that. And
check me out.
And for those that are struggling with, because I saw a post earlier that was talking about housing expenses and rent and things like that. We're gonna have to start getting used to doing group economics. So going to a group class may be beneficial if you can't do it one-on-one.
And this is the reason why. And I'm sorry, I know I just kind of got real hyped for that one, right? Because it's like group therapy. It's something about everyone being in a group, and I've been, having these, and I wanted it to be, because some people will be like, I don't want to share my personal things with everybody. But it's something about being in a room with other people who are going through the same thing as you, where y'all can share ideas, we can share perspective, and we're all trying to get to the same place. Yes. So that's why I started doing groups. And so the budgeting and savings group is up to 16 because there's a lot going on there. So 16 people. For the credit, debt, and lending, where you're getting prepared for the thing you're about to purchase, I could do up to 25 there.
Okay. So it's limited spaces.
Yes, it's limited spaces.
Is it open now for them?
Yes, it's open now. It's open now.
Y'all better sign up.
June's books are open right now.
Y'all better sign up, because I'm telling you, they're going to go by quick.
They are.
Yeah, it's interesting because like with the group classes like that, you ever notice that people go through the same thing, but then like you have one person who's giving the other person advice, but it's the same thing they already need to hear? Yeah.
It's amazing, and I love that. And it just like lights me up, and it gives me that fire to say, this is the reason why I'm doing this. Because some people, while they'll say I shouldn't be talking, because back in the day, they would tell. So just like we've all heard the saying, what goes on in this house, it stays in this house, right? Mm-hmm. People do that with money, and I'm just like, well, how are you going to get better? Why aren't we sharing perspective so I can understand that this is a real thing and this affects other people? I'm just going to walk around the world just thinking that this is the only thing happening to me.
It's a group understanding of money.
Absolutely.
as a group understanding of money, because you could be, you can work on your own self when it comes to it, but if your whole circle still has certain things to deal with when it comes to money, you still kind of got certain things to deal with when it comes to money.
Absolutely.
Because you still got to fight off their words.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what's good about doing a group thing is if you find somebody that you connect with, you can hold each other accountable.
Absolutely.
Help them through, and then when you struggling, then you have somebody that understands what you're going through. You can say, "Hey, man, I'm really going through it. I really want to, I'm trying to stick to this budget. I'm having trouble. Oh man, look, I'm going through it too. Hey, let's just remember what was said in the class.
You're gonna be my accountability partner, so that way we gonna all make it.
Make it. Yeah.
Yes.
There was strength in a tribal.
Yes. Absolutely.
I honestly think everybody knows what it is they need to do. They just need to hear how to do it.
You know what? There's some people that don't.
True.
Like there's some people, and it was explained, and then I'm gonna get on to the keeping it real. But there's some people, and it seems like it's weird. Like it seems like in relationships, it seems like it happened where one person is like the saver, and the other person is kind of like more the free spirit. And it seems like there has to be like kind of a balance between.
I don't know why that is.
But it just seemed like that. It seemed like and I'm the budgeter too. So Candace is kind of more or less the free spirit, want to spend, but it's a balance because I don't want to spend nothing.
But you got to.
But she then encouraged, hey, no, look, let's go have some fun. So it's a good bet. But I have to reel her in sometimes by saying, look, if we want to go do these things, then we need to stick to the budget. So there needs to be some type of equal. So some people have never seen a budget, don't want to see a budget, and they feel drained when they do a budget because it's like, and it's like, so you do need a class to maybe teach you, like, it's not as bad as what you think it is, because the things you want to do, this budget will enable you to do it and not feel guilty about
and plan for it. And it's like, some people tell me, oh, I don't make enough money. If you make $2, you need to see, is it going out in dollar increments? Is it going out in 50-cent, 10-cent increments? So, yes.
Like, just me and her, like the first conversation we had about budgeting, it didn't go too well because I think she thought it was going to be more or less what she couldn't do. But we had a conversation. I said, well, what is it that you need to do? Right. Said, well, I would like to get my nails done. I said, nails fun.
There you go.
She said, I would like to get my hair done. Hair fun. I said, what else? She said, I want to do that. I said, as long as we can budget for it and we have a fund for it, then you can do it. I said, this isn't going to be like what I'm your daddy telling you what you can and cannot do.
Right.
I said, I just need to make sure that we can budget for it.
All right, fellas, listening, y'all look, do y'all hear these gems being dropped? I like that. Yeah. You said done. Next one, yes, that.
You gotta make sure you got
what else you want to get?
Pretty much. Like, all right, we know that this is good. We got extra. Let's do it.
Yeah. So that way, it's not even a question. So when you go get it, it's not how much some nails cost, babe?
Right.
Oh well, they was this and that. Well,
there you go.
You know, it's like, no, it's not even a question. Hey, look, it's there.
Right.
Whenever you want to go. I'm not gonna question you. I'm gonna ask you where you going. It just when you come back, show, oh babe, them nails look good. Okay, cool. And just keep,
the budget is just prioritizing the things in your life and the things that you want to keep going in your lifestyle. That's it.
Assigning your dollar. Assigning your dollars. Every dollar should have an assignment.
Absolutely.
Yep. So we look.
We on the same page. Come on,
Capricorn.
Yes.
Cancer? Was it Cancer, Capricorn? No, you were Gemini.
Gemini. I'm Capricorn.
I'm sorry, Capricorn. Yeah.
I'm Capricorn.
Gemini.
I was married to a Cancer.
Is
Never
Gemini
again.
season coming up?
It is now.
Yeah, it's Gemini season right now.
Okay.
And then,
it's my season.
Then Cancer season is after that. So you're on track.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
It's on.
Yeah, just you a little bit there.
Yeah, I'm a little bit off. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do the keeping it real clip. Man, I was torn between these two clips.
Okay.
One is on how we perceive how much people make, and the other one is women in entrepreneurship. Which one do we want to play?
Shit,
that's good.
That is good because perception on the way how much money people make will definitely change how much you think you have in comparison.
Y'all want to go with that one, or y'all want to go with the boss?
I like that one only because I feel like the perception of like when people say, "Oh, you got to make 6 figures," when 6 figures ain't nothing out here.
Okay, so we're gonna go with that one. I think that's you as the queen that's spoken.
And
Regina actually means queen.
It's such a perception is crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
So hold on, before I play, I got it. So this is from Anthony O'Neill. He is a financial advisor. So yeah. Is it playing?
Me and him were on a viral clip on the Shade Room once.
Oh, were y'all?
We were.
Okay.
Well, he did his spiel. It was for Black Friday. We all did what it is. We gave our tips for Black Friday on the Shade Room.
Got it. Okay, cool, dope.
This makes absolutely no sense. We're judging men and we're judging people
by their income, but not by their margin. Ooh, we're judging people by their income, but not by their true wealth. Ooh, we're judging people by how much money they make a year, but not assessing what is their money mindset, what is their vision. Anthony, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I mean, if he only makes $45,000 a year, how can he be wealthy? Let me tell you right now, millionaires, let me be honest with you, millionaires is not about what you have coming in, it's about what have you invested and what have you grown, okay? While I was at Ramsey Solutions, my friend and mentor, Dave Ramsey, he just came out with the book called The Baby Step Millionaires, and I would highly recommend. I'm going to link that book below because you all need to get this. This makes absolutely no sense.
So
I like that.
So the tagline was foolishness. She wants a man who makes $200,000 a year. That was the tagline, and that's what he was responding.
I saw that, and I saw Kendra's show. It was on, I believe, Kendra G. Do y'all know who Kendra G is? Oh my goodness, love her. I've been listening to her for forever because she's in Chicago. But anyways, it was when a girl had came on her dating show and said that the guy needed to make over $200,000.
I think that may, yeah. So it's all tied together.
Why?
React.
I mean, okay, so I mean, I have a bunch of things to think about this because it's like, don't nobody think about taxes. So let's think about, I'm so realistic, and I feel like we're not having the real conversations that need to be had. All right, so that's just like $100,000 after taxes. What's that, like 60, 72, maybe, if that? Mm-hmm. And so if we're talking about someone, I'm not going to say that my man needs to make over $200,000. I'm not saying that specifically, but I feel like in this particular clip, Anthony kind of went a little overboard because I get it, mindset and things like that. I get what this woman, I feel, was trying to say. She needs her man to be able to provide, and she needs to make sure that he is secure in some type of finances.
Okay.
She just went the route of saying $200,000. Now, I feel like that was a reach, but I'm pretty sure we are in California. We've seen six figures come and go. It ain't a lot of money nowadays. It doesn't feel like a lot of money. So that's my thought on that.
Okay.
I mean, I would like to make $200,000 a year. You know what I mean? But
there we go. Do you feel okay? Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you feel like men are judged based on their income?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel like that's fair?
I'm gonna say why not? When in the beginning, it was the man that was providing. I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's a good question. That's why I'm asking it.
I think it is fair to put it into consideration.
Yes.
Right. It's not everything.
Correct.
But it's definitely something that is that's security.
It deserves a check mark on my list.
Right.
You're working.
Right.
Check.
Right, you got
Okay.
you got stability. Cool.
Yeah.
I know that when I come home, everything's gonna be on.
Right.
Oh, I got enough money for some food. Sure. Oh, cool. I get to actually do some
Absolutely.
entertaining.
Sure.
Some the entertainment stuff.
Sure.
Cool. Right. So
It's
yeah,
worth
it's
it.
like how great and free will I be feeling in this relationship?
Absolutely.
What things can I do in this relationship? How open are my possibilities?
Absolutely.
How big are the opportunities for
How
things I get
far
to
from
do?
lack am I really going to be in this relationship?
Exactly. How worried am I going to be? How stressed am I going to be over about money? Because
Absolutely.
money's a huge stress because when you start
'Cause we
thinking
need
about
it.
exactly, especially when it comes to like the bills and things like happen, anything can happen and shit. But do I know that I'll be good? Yeah. All right.
Sure.
Cool. I get to have a better peace of mind. I get to be more in the moment, in the now, instead of thinking about how am I going to do this, right? So when you're talking about finding something that you enjoy doing, like me with photography and stuff, it's like I really do enjoy being creative, right? I get to actually do things the way I want to do versus strictly versus what the client tells me that they want,
Right.
or what I think they want, right? So when I get like seriously, like literally every time I get into like a real like creative mode, I am full of joy.
Okay.
Right.
My vibrational state is up to the T.
Right.
Right.
I mean, you're in your zone of genius at that point.
Right. And then that right there allows me to be in the now, and it really does help me make more money.
It does.
So it's like I get to be able to like think. I don't think of like, okay, how am I going to make money? What I got to do is to make more money. No, what I got to do to create the things I want to create.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
And stay in that good
And
zone.
have
of
the
genius.
freedom to do
Exactly.
it.
Not just the things that I actually get to do. I mean, I get to to build, but it's also like what kind of things what kind of opportunities, what kind of experiences, what kind of memories can I create?
Yeah.
So
that.
it's just like it just allows people to be in a more of a free spirit versus I have to do these things because if I don't, we don't have.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Versus I'm doing so great that I can take a break from what I'm doing and go enjoy some other stuff and then come back to it the way that I want to do it.
Right. Yeah.
That's good. But once again, and that's a great thing, I feel that salary does matter. And I do believe that, and see, I'm looking at perception of salary in I'm looking at it in a way of, I truly believe that when we're looking at salaries, like when people are saying $100,000, they're looking at it being $100,000 versus looking at what it really is in the world where we have to pay taxes and things like that. So yes, I do feel like it should be considered, like you said, for a woman to look at how much a man makes. Does it have to be a $200,000 salary? No, but I do feel that it needs to be considered. It needs to be looked at. And I feel, like I said, I'm going in a different direction on perception. I feel like we look at salaries as being something more than what it really is sometimes.
Yeah. I got what he was trying to get at. And I think people have to get that 6-figure. I don't know. It's like it's in rap song. It's like in everything. I want a 6-figure nigga. It's like,
yeah.
All right. Well, okay. So first of all,
City Girl 7-figure.
Okay, and she said 7 figures. But I've heard 6 figures too.
I've heard 6-figure too.
Yeah.
I was just saying City Girl.
City Girl wants 7 figures. It's like, first of all,
7 figures.
Let's look at the demographic and realistic on how many people make 6 figures.
Oh, absolutely.
And then let's look at the demographic of how many people bring home 6 figures. And
Come
then
on.
because just like I think that's what he was saying was look at the money mindset, because I know plenty of people that make over $200,000 and are broke.
Yeah.
And don't manage
because
their
everything
money.
that they getting, they spending. I saw that as an underwriter. Let me tell you, okay, because I got this the other day. People was like, "What is a loan or underwriter?" Loan underwriter. I said, yes, no, or maybe to loans. And I would see a person that's making all of this money, medical field, notorious for this. They make a whole bunch of money, but they spend a whole bunch of money.
Spend a whole bunch of money.
Doctors, nurses. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Nurses was on that list, and I'm so sorry for all the nurses.
Because they sad.
I don't know what it is.
Well, because
I
they feel
don't know
like
what it is.
they feel like that they can outspend. Or no, out earn what they spend by doing overtime. Oh, I'll just do overtime, or I'll just make it up. And it's like, nah.
It's
I think there's a lot more
crazy.
than that. I think it also does go back into the emotionalness of it,
I think
because
so.
a lot of those people
that's
do.
They're experiencing a lot.
That's
They're
good.
taking
Yeah,
in a lot.
You're right.
Not just that, but that student loan debt is no fucking joke.
Oh yeah. Oh, they got student loans.
That
child.
student loan debt is no joke.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
and you gotta think they're around wealthy people.
Right.
They're around rich doctors
Right.
and stuff, so they feel like, oh, you know, hey, this is just what we do.
Yeah.
Right.
And they couldn't do all that during school,
That's
during the nursing school and shit, and in the doctor programs. They
Absolutely.
couldn't because they had to be on it
Absolutely.
on a regular.
No.
And it's stressful.
And it's
a
stressful. So
job.
now when they
That's
get to the point
And-
where like they can actually have some free time,
I wanna
they got
enjoy myself.
the free money. They're
Right.
they're gonna spend their
Like,
money,
I'm gonna go spend it.
but they're in debt.
Yeah.
They're in
They
debt.
are. They absolutely. I don't know what it was when I was an underwriter, and when I would have a loan come through, and I'm just like, it's always more so nurses than it was doctors, but they're all in that category of they're gonna forget about bills because they busy. I get it. Y'all out here, y'all working. We saw how overstressed they were during the pandemic.
Oh, for sure.
And I would feel so bad. I'm like, oh, I still want to give them this loan though,
Yeah.
but it's like,
Can't.
I'm like, why are they in so much debt?
Yeah.
Even though you make so much money. So that's why that perception of money, or saying, oh, you make so much money, but like you said, how much money do you really have coming home, and how much of that are you keeping?
Yes. And I think that's what people really need to start looking at is
Yes.
not what you earn, it's your net
How much you
worth.
keeping? Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, I know it's typically the women wants a man that makes 200,000. And you know, I know Kevin Samuels died and all that. We ain't gonna go into that. I just want to say this. If you want a man that makes that, then you need to be able to understand what comes along with that as well. Because I think a lot of women feel like because they make a certain amount of money that I deserve somebody that makes 200,000. And more times than not, the men that make that or make 6 figures don't care how much you make.
They don't.
They don't want a boss chick, or
look.
they don't want somebody. They want somebody that's going to be able to bring some stability, some peace, and some to their household. So the same way you want stability and peace financially, he wants stability and peace, so that way he can continue to keep earning the amount that's making. So the that's not. But most entrepreneurs, I mean, maybe they do. I ain't gonna say that, but from what I've seen, entrepreneurs can relate to other entrepreneurs, but that's stressful for both people. And I think a lot of people want to have somebody that, again, brings some peace. And both people want stability. So you need to, if you want stability, can you provide stability? And it may not be in the same realm. It may be in a different avenue.
I'm here for that. But you want to know what? It's something, because especially as a woman, high earning woman, when I have dated high earning men, like you said, you got to be ready for what that comes with. So one particular, because single dating, and during that time, he was just like, yeah, I want my woman to be at home, and I want her to work for me and do this. And I was just like, no,
that ain't me.
That ain't me.
Right.
We not even a match.
Right.
You cool and all. I'm so glad you told me this now.
Right.
Because I'm one of those people, I like to get it out the way. Let's talk now. I don't want to get to all the endorphins is flowing and I'm feeling a certain type of way and I'm ready to risk it all. Nah. What you want? Oh, you don't want. Peace.
Yeah.
Take care. But and I don't know if I'm not one of those women that's probably ready for what a 200 figure is going to be wanting sometimes.
So that's a good question. So since you're an entrepreneur, you're a high earning woman, what do you value in your partner as a man? Do you want another entrepreneur, high earning man, or do you want a man that's going to be able to kind of maybe like
what would he need to bring?
Yes, that's
okay.
That's my question.
So he still has to earn money, and I want him to be driven. I do want a man that's driven. I do want a man that I can feel stable with and I can feel protected by. So I have to feel, because that's like one of my, that's my love language. I need to feel protected.
When you say stable, what do you mean? Financially stable, emotionally stable, or all of the above? Okay,
emotionally stable. I don't need any emotional damaged person. I need somebody that's emotionally available.
Okay.
I want someone that is financially stable in themselves and what it is. I want somebody career driven. I don't want somebody that's just like out here just don't know.
Right.
Don't know exactly what it is that they want to do in life. Yeah.
Has a vision.
Correct.
Yes.
Because you have to. Because where it lacks vision, you're throwing spaghetti at the wall. Right. So they have to have vision. I have to feel protected. I have to feel safe. Like I have to feel like I can let my heart sit with you. I have to feel like that you're gonna love me. That I feel safe with you.
Right.
Because if I don't, then I'm not gonna feel protected. It's something about safety and security. I have to feel protected, and my heart has to feel that way too.
Yeah.
But I want someone that's going to, pour in that is not just loving of me, but pour into me, like pour their love into me. Because I'm one of those people. I need to be. I'm an only child, right? I'm an orphan as well. So orphan meaning now both my parents have passed away at younger ages, and I need to feel that love. I know how to pour that love into myself, and if I'm going to take time away, because entrepreneur, oh my God, it's a lot that goes into it. If I'm going to take my time away from me getting to it, being in my zone of genius and getting to this money, I got to make sure that you are someone that I can feel safe with, and you're going to be pouring into me.
Got it. Okay. I think that's. I think that's not. I think entrepreneur. Let me just say this. I think when you're dealing with somebody that is in the creative space, entrepreneur space, or is in a high earning space, they require a higher level of support because they are typically pouring themselves into their work or into their purpose. So when they come home, that's a hard ask, because sometimes you may feel like that you're second or third fiddle, but you have to understand what that person that they're grinding, that they're working hard to provide the lifestyle that is provided, and that you're included in that lifestyle. But I think a lot of people want to be the priority, and sometimes it's gonna feel like you're not, but you probably are. It's just it don't feel like it, and I think that's where I've seen the woman that wants a $200,000 man, but then complain, oh, he's never home.
What do you expect?
Hello?
Yeah, I mean,
because he's working, and that's how he's making the $200,000.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, he's not into me. He's not in the because he's working.
There has to be an understanding.
And if you want somebody that's home, then you can't. Then he ain't gonna make it $200,000.
Oh my goodness, that ain't even on my list, because the person that's home, are they working? Right. You get what I'm saying?
I just think people got to just be more realistic of what they're asking.
Absolutely. And a lot of people aren't. And I'm very realistic of what it is. And I'm okay. See, I'm an only child. So it's like I've learned how to get along. That's why I said the pandemic was fine for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've learned how to entertain myself. And so when I'm with someone, as long as when we get together, we make each other a part of, each other's number one during that time. But I'm okay with being away.
Right.
I was a military spouse. That's why I was cool with that, because I'm like, oh, bet you going, you gonna do this. I'm straight.
Right.
So that's the support. The support factor is there.
That was just interesting because we don't typically you don't hear what a high earning woman needs in her relationship.
You need more love. You need. I'm just at the end of the day, love and support, because like when I'm accepting awards or when I'm speaking somewhere or when I'm getting all of these things that's happening, I just need, all right, you're gonna be there. You're gonna make time supportive.
Yeah.
You're gonna love me at the end of the day.
Champion you.
Feed. You're gonna make sure that you rubbing my feet, rubbing me. Everything. Just loving me down.
Well, because there be a lot of men that be jealous about that kind of stuff.
No, that's
and feel like that they're like being overshadowed or like, you know what I mean? Like they're not used to being like in that support role. So it's just, to me,
that's like some shit they gotta deal with.
That's lame to me. Like you should be a champion of your spouse no matter what they do.
Absolutely. I mean, if we could both be, and we could both be high earners, and as long as we know how to support each other.
Yeah.
I feel like, there's going to be times, especially if I'm with someone that's doing their own thing as well, you may not be able to be there physically, but how do I feel emotionally? Are you texting me, babe, I know that I ain't there, but this, that, are you sending me kissy emojis that take 2 seconds or something like that? Like how are you doing that?
Right.
And then when you do get home, what is it going to be?
Right.
Right.
So, right. Okay. That was good. It was a good answer. That was a good answer. All right, man. We're going to get into the internet. Oh, hold on. I gotta get my internet wins again. Where's my DJ board at? Oh, there he goes. Internet wins again. Why does it always do that to me?
I don't know.
It seems like whenever we do the internet wins again, I always gotta take Internet wins again, where we talk about the hottest internet topics. All right, man. It's been a good episode. We about at 2 hours. So we ain't gonna rush the conversation, but we gonna get straight to the point. So we're going to talk about the new Kendrick Lamar album that just dropped. Sheesh. Mm-hmm. Double disc. Loaded with features. He's been on a 4 or 5 year hiatus. I don't even know what to even say. I don't even know where to start here. But we're going to give our thoughts. We're going to give our first impressions, our favorite tracks, just the common themes that kind of went through there. Maybe some, just some in-depth reaction to the Kendrick Lamar album, because we do talk about Black culture a lot on this podcast and music, and we definitely could not go an episode without talking about Kendrick Lamar, because he is one of the people that does move and pushed our culture forward. Mm-hmm. So, how we think? What do we think about this? What do we think about the album? How do we view this? Where does it stack up in his catalog? The Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, man. How do we feel, Photo?
I needed to listen to it more. Because Kendrick's album is fire to me, but I couldn't listen to it all in just one setting.
Definitely,
right? You gotta be in the mood to listen.
You absolutely
you have to if you want to listen. All right, if you're gonna play Kendrick, you're gonna actually want to listen, not just play it and have it in the background. No, you want to be able to focus, and sometimes you just can't focus on what he's saying because you got some other things you got to do, and you don't want to give it. You want to give it its justice. You want to give it its respect. So I need to listen to it again. But when we cry, we cry together. Oh my God.
Yes. Is that the one where he going back and forth with her?
That's the argument.
That was a lot. God, that was a lot.
But what they said was stop dancing around the conversation.
Yeah.
Because at the end, they were talking about accountability on both sides. But it's about an understanding about what's going on. What we need, what Black women need, it's being talked about in there, but it's like, we're not talking about it.
Yeah.
You hear about the fighting, the arguments, but you guys aren't really having the real conversations. You're not talking about something that really matters because you guys are attacking each other based off of pettiness, jealousy, just attacking each other instead of being like, what can we do to fix it?
Absolutely.
We're like, we know the problem. We understand why you're mad. What do you need from us? And what can we really give you that? In the situation and where we are, can we give you what you need? And how do we give it to you, whether it's platonically, emotionally, romantically, what? Right? But it's like you guys need to, we all need to understand that not everybody needs the same thing. So it's like, okay, it's not just about like a whole group conversation. It's about understanding like, yes, there's a group understanding of what as a group we need, but every individual needs something different.
Absolutely.
They need something specific, right? Like, yes, we understand that you need protection. You guys want protection. Some people, some don't for whatever reason. We get it. But protection always looks different. You know what I mean? Do you need us to physically protect you or protect your presence, your space, your honor? What is it that you want us? What protection do you need? And on our side, like how do we receive the respect that we deserve? How do we even know that we deserve the respect? Right? What do we need to do so that way we're not fighting for? We're not trying to fight each other for understanding, but it's just like, let's talk.
Right.
Stop dancing over the conversation and just have it.
So let me ask you that. Let me ask you this question. Even though the record sounded like it was between a woman and a man in a relationship, do you think that the conversation also mirrored the overarching theme of the relationship between black women and black men?
Yes.
Okay.
That's good. That's really good. I think that's really good. When I first heard it, like you said, you got to really be paying attention because I was cleaning the house and I was like, wait a minute now, what's happening? What are they talking about? What did they say? I was like, I got to go back to the transcript or something and read this because I was like, what is happening here? I didn't know what my phone had turned on for a second. I said, wait, this on the album?
Right.
But I haven't listened to it enough to give a full, Kendrick, of course,
right.
He needs a full analysis of it.
Oh,
the one thing that I can just say, just from the things that I've listened to, you could tell that Kendrick's going through something. It's great that he dropped this during Mental Health Awareness Month because you can tell he's having his own issues. I appreciate him putting out there daddy issues because when people always associate daddy issues with women, and when he came out and said, okay, I have daddy issues myself and just putting it out there for men so maybe they can feel safe and feel heard now that Kendrick then put it out there and they can come to their realizations that they have daddy issues as well. But
that was on Father Time. For those that are listening, yes, that's one of my favorite records on there.
Yeah, because I was just like, wow, I was just like, now that one I really listened to in the car. Everybody need to be in the car when you listen, okay? Even if you just sitting there, okay? If you just sit there and just listen in the car, it's a good place to listen.
Right,
but that was one that stood out to me. I believe I like the one, it was another one, is it Silent Hill?
Silent Hill.
Where, was it him and Kodak?
Kodak Black.
Okay, I just like the beat on that one. I'm just going to be honest. That was one that I can move to. I don't know what the words are saying yet, just to be honest with you. But I can move to it. It's going to get played. The next thing I can say, I don't know if Kendrick was dealing with some issues on not his identity, but his attractiveness. But the song he kept saying he was attractive. I'm like, where's this coming from? This is so different for him, for me, unless I'm missing it. Because I'm just like, I've never seen him, like, you can just tell something's going on in his relationship. He's expressing himself of some things that he's experienced in his childhood, and it's all relevant. That's just from me just listening to some of the songs. And I haven't gave it a full listen like it deserves because it definitely does. But you can tell he's going through something, and maybe this is therapy for him.
Sure. Yeah, I think he even said that before dropping this, where people were asking where is his next record, and he kept saying, you guys are not going to appreciate it. You guys don't appreciate it. So I don't feel like I should. Yeah. And he obviously said that. I think he wanted to retire. But this is why he said that, because there is no way you would get the depth of this album, double album, within one or two listenings. This is something that you're going to have to... This takes me back to old school mid-90s where you had to rewind a track 3 or 4 times just to pick up on what the subliminals or what was saying.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say, I might be long-winded. I'm going to try to keep my synopsis short. But what I love about Kendrick is his attention to detail and the subliminal messages, right? So just you guys just follow me, right? He does this a lot. So the album is 18 tracks, 9 tracks per disc, right? The last track is called Mirror, right? There's a lot of records on here that mirror each other. I haven't figured out how the sequence of it is, but if you look at the records and you look at some of how it's sequenced, it's like a mirror, right? The mirroring title also bodes well because on the first part of the disc, it's the Big Stepper record. But if you look at the title of it, it's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. It's flipped. So the Big Steppers first, Mr. Morale is second. On the first part of the disc, he's really going into the therapy, the father time, the daddy issues, the issues with the N95, talking about what's going on with the pandemic or what was going on during that time, talking about being rich in spirit by saying that all the stuff that he purchased, the being rich and famous did not make him happy, right? The We Cry Together, the relationship between black women and black men, right? But then taking it back to Purple Heart by saying, but I still want to love, like, you know, that's more like a love record. So that's more the therapeutic, I'm kind of letting off my issues kind of a thing, right? Then the Mr. Morale side of it seemed like to me that it's okay, I found myself. Don't count me out. Then that's the first record that he actually started off with, right? Then Savior, where he talks about his savior complex. But then on the next record, Savior, well, that was a savior interlude, excuse me. Then on the next record, he's basically saying, I'm not a savior. Like I've come to grips that I am not going to be able to be a role model. I'm just being me, and I'm good, and I'm okay with being me. But I felt like I needed to save and kind of be on this pedestal, right? Because I think he listed like other, like I think he listed like LeBron James and a couple of other black athletes or black famous people are saying they are not your savior. They are not your savior, right? Then he ends it with, or not ends it, but then he goes into Auntie Diaries by talking about how he had to deal with a transgender member of his family, right? And having to accept that. So I just think then he goes to Miss Morale, then he goes to Mother I Sober, which was one of my other deeper favorite records on there. Then he ends it with Mirror, where I think it's then comes to more of like a reconciliation. Like it's like hope at the end of the record. Like Mother I Sober, like now I'm good. Now I figured it out. And then the Mirror was like, I'm kind of looking at myself in the mirror and finally recognizing and seeing who I am, and I'm happy where I'm at. And I think on one of the records, he even asked, he's like, you know, would you guys only accept me if I'm only talking about my trauma? Like, and on some of the back, and you pointed it out, on some of the records, you can hear tap dancing. Right? So on the We Cry, there was tap dancing, and he said, stop tap dancing around the conversation. Right? And then I want to say on Mr. Morale, there may have been tap dancing. I don't remember what other record it was, but it was a record where he was saying, would you guys only accept me for me talking about the things that I'm going through that are traumatic, or would you guys accept me for the things that I'm happy about? Because now I'm finally found myself. So are you guys going to receive it the same way?
No.
And it's not. It's not, right?
True. So
it was just, it's deep on so many levels. I haven't been able to get to but I've got a pretty good grasp on what he was trying to do. And just the mirroring aspect, the 9 and 9, the flipping the record label or the title of the record, having Mr. Morale on the second, having the Big Stepper record on the first part of it. He's doing some symmetrical, deeper mirroring, dual consciousness kind of a thing on it. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm doing a whole dissertation on it, but with Kendrick, you kind of have to. There is nothing that he does that's not intentional. And he spent his time on this record. So I really want to give him his props for his attention to detail, because this is what hip hop should be. And if you're going to listen to the album, you're going to have to listen to it without your music ears. You're going to have to listen to it as just a work of art. That's really what it is. And you can tell by the strings, by the pianos, by a lot of the jazz samples. It's very Afrocentric, and it's very... It just brings me back to old school 92, 93 LA hip hop, how hip hop was, how hip hop is. And I think, man, he just did an incredible job. As far as where it ranks in the catalog, I don't know yet. I can't put it there. I know Nate said fourth.
This is like a different type of album.
I don't even know if you can even judge it as an album.
It's like its own separate work of art.
I guess I'm kind of relating it to like when comedians, not like a comedy album, but like say, because artists do this sometimes where they have that one album that's not about you. It's all about them. Right? So like
Frank
I'm gonna
Ocean's
take like
last album.
so I didn't listen, so I couldn't even. I was gonna say Beyonce Lemonade.
No, you're saying.
I was gonna say Lemonade or something.
I would think
like
that most of them are like self-titled,
Yeah.
or like something that's just like their personal,
right, something that
putting
they're
themselves
going
out
through.
there.
So it's almost like a book to themselves of things that they went through, and they're just jotting. It's almost like their journal.
Yeah.
Like we're in their journal or something like that. So I don't really consider this to be like an album that's gonna go on my listens. Like something that Matt. What was the first album? The first album was
Mad
amazing.
City, yeah.
I'm not good with names though. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I just know I liked it.
No, it's all good. I mean, this is all of our opinion. I mean, even look at the first record, United in Grief. Mm-hmm. That goes back to the same thing that we bond and we all relate to people. When he's saying we talking about black people.
Yeah.
We relate to each other in grief.
Instead of bond in trauma.
Instead of healing and relating to each other when we got into a better place. And I think that poses the question: would we accept our artist once they become happy?
No.
Like, just think about it.
I will. I love artists.
I know, and I'm just saying in general. Just like
in general,
overall,
no, they not.
So like the Mary J. Blige, we all love "It's Going Down."
Such a good analogy.
Right. But then when she started singing about happy and being in a relationship, we like, yo, like, nah, that's not what we fuck with.
Then they openly said it too. It was just, and then it's like, so what do you want the artist to do? Because then the artist is thinking, back to money, do I make money by giving them what they want, or do I stay true to my art, or stay true to what it is that I want to do as I'm evolving?
Yeah, and when you evolve as an artist, don't we want our artists to evolve, or do we want our artists to only be where they're at when we find them, and we want them to stay the same?
People want them to stay right there. So they can trauma bond right there.
I don't want to necessarily say it's trauma bonding. I think what it is it's just that like we associate a certain artist to do a certain type of music. Right, we became we put them in a box. We put them in a box, and that's where, like, if we want to listen to certain things, they're already in our category, right? Like, I don't want to start going to you for, like, if I go to you for hip hop and rap and shit, I don't want to start going to you for R&B. Like, that's certain
a bit
things.
different. The reason, and I want to tell you the reason why I said trauma bond is because if we go back to say a Mary J. Blige, her music, like if we're talking about I'm going down and we're talking about not gonna cry, some things like that, and then when Mary started talking about being happy, that was the reason why I was saying like trauma bond. Summer Walker, another one.
That's a great example.
Summer Walker's music was, basically for all the women that feel like, or the people, all right, you know where we at now. all the people,
ain't shit,
yes,
emo,
all the people who feel
R&B.
like, yes. So they want to stay in that emotional state. And so when Summer had to come out and say, y'all, I don't want to do these songs because this isn't me. These take me through a bad place. I'm in a different place. They wanted to trauma bond with her in that specific place. They want to stay in that emotional state where their artist is at. And maybe it's just artist specific though.
Who would we consider in the hip hop and R&B category a happy artist from the get-go?
I think, okay, let me say this.
Let me think for a second.
I think some of the bigger artists are allowed to grow. So Jay-Z. Jay-Z is a perfect example, right? He went from
selling
D-boy, crack cocaine, selling drugs to now I'm moving in the corporate world. And we all love that transition because we were like, okay, he made it. Like, we see that he started talking about more therapeutic things on 4044, right? On Kingdom Come, talking about family and being able to move on from certain relationships, grow with you, right? And certain artists we don't. I don't know what it is.
I think okay. My opinion is that certain artists have I don't want to say seniority, but Jay's been in it for a long ass time,
and that you know what I mean. And Jay's almost in his own category,
right? And he
absolutely
right. He's not like a young thug rapper.
I don't even say
you know what I mean? Right. He's not. He raps like a hustler,
right?
Right. Versus a dealer and a banger and shit like that. Absolutely. And flex and all that. It wasn't really on that. It was like, I gotta get to the bread,
right?
Type, right? So when you're coming from talking about the bread, and then you can branch out to do a lot of different things. Like Chief Keef can't go start doing happy shit. He can't go. He's not gonna have the same. His fans aren't going to rock with him if he starts going. It's like him going pop damn near.
I understand what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? It's like he's not going to go like the Kyle route.
Yeah.
He's not going to go the Drake route.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He has to he's stuck in that. his fans will like his fans if they rock with him just because who he is.
See,
it's
but
cool.
would you consider him an artist, or would you consider him an entertainer?
That was a good one.
I think artists are allowed usually to have a little bit more freedom in what they present, but people also have to be careful in how they market themselves and how they introduce themselves into the world. So like a Black, I think Black is a good example too, where a lot of his R&B was more, I'm going through it, breakup, it's dark, kind of emo-ish. So I would feel weird hearing, now I'm in a relationship, now I'm happy. But if you followed him as an artist, I think if you are invested in the artist, I think as a fan, you should want to see that. And you should be growing with him as you get older, to me. But I get that. Honestly, let's just be honest. Some artists we are not going to allow to grow.
Okay.
Because we're selfish.
It's also, I can't relate to you anymore.
True.
Yes.
And but you want to know what? That's okay. Because you just have that book of art that you did like, and you could just go back to that. You don't have to continue to grow with them. And I feel like we don't have to. Now, this is unpopular opinion, but I'm from Chicago, so I have to bring it up. Okay. One of my favorite artists, and this is unpopular opinion, is R. Kelly.
I seen it coming.
Right?
Yeah, we already knew it was coming. Chicago.
From
right?
Chicago. We listen to it all the time. I'm sorry, we just did. But when he made Trapped in the Closet, it was so funny. And he had all of these different versions of Trapped in the Closet. That was when I fell off. I fell off and I came back on after that. But that was when a lot of people fell on because they was like, this is so awesome. And I'm like,
Up to like episode 7.
I don't
you
even-
see,
it was
I don't
weird.
even know none of them.
Right.
Because I stopped. I was like, what
I know
is
I made like
this?
the first 2, baby.
When I saw the midget, when they introduced
Oh
the
my
midget,
God,
I
a
was like, nah, I
midget.
can't.
Yeah.
Midget.
So
I was
like,
I can't. I was like,
so I was out of there.
Oh my God, a rubber.
But just giving an example of a person
Right.
who was making all of this other music.
Hey,
and
I'm not gonna
then-
lie. Every so often I do start out at a random time of the day, but like 7 o'clock in the morning, the rays from the sun.
See, and it's like I was so irritated with that. I'm like, what is he doing? But just going back to what you were saying. So with artists, yes,
It was
yes,
it was that was artists and entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, and I think we all have to realize that Black trauma gets marketed. That's what makes
It
the
does.
money. So
It does.
That's what we get, and typically we don't get the happy end of the story. So that's why I like at the end of this record that
just like the photograph.
that is yes exactly. It started out with it being dark and traumatic, and then it ended up coming to a place where it's like, okay, I've accepted who I am.
Yeah.
And I've come to a better place. And you even hear him talking about going to therapy. He even mentioned that he cheated on his fiance.
Yeah.
That he was addicted to sex for a little
Yeah,
bit.
I heard
And
that.
Yeah. So it was hopefully. We always do whatever Kendrick or J. Cole or whoever is trendy. So hopefully this starts a bigger conversation amongst Black men about going to therapy. Hopefully this parts a bigger conversation, like what you were saying, as far as the having father issues, daddy issues, because men have father wounds just as much as women have father
Absolutely.
wounds. That record was so dope to me because it hit me different because men do learn to just work and not be present. And he even said, after his mom died, his dad went right to work because he said, because the bills had to get paid.
Absolutely.
And it's like, you didn't even leave no room to even be human. You just had to work. You know what I mean? So it was dope, man. I think just like what you guys said, this record is in its own category. I can't even put it in there, but I'm still listening to it. I'm still digesting it.
Me too. I'm still gonna listen, but I feel like something big came out of the conversation that we just had. That if your artist is growing, and that's something that you're not in that place to receive that, you can just accept it and say, you know what, I'm here. I'm up here to the catalog. This is where I stop with your catalog, and I'm just gonna take this for what it is. And then there's always new artists. There's so much music out right now.
That's true.
Oh my goodness.
That's true. And I think we need to start separating artists from entertainers because
Absolutely.
they're not the same.
Absolutely.
They're not the same. This is an artist, and you can tell it's an
Kendrick's
artist.
an artist.
And even the little minor detail of adding Kodak Black in there, right?
That was different.
It was different because I think he tried to do the same thing that Kanye did with Marilyn Manson by saying, like, this is a redeeming thing. Like, I think putting Kodak on the Mr. Morale side was basically saying, like, because we all root for Kodak, right? Even no matter what Kodak does, we like, I want to see Kodak end up doing better. Like, I want to see him doing better. And Kodak is trying to do better. Like, I think he even got saved. Like, I think it was maybe this week or maybe last week. So we all see him doing better, and we want to see him doing better, and he's trying to do better. So I think even that little minor detail of putting him on the second part of it by this is the more hopeful part of the record or more hopeful part of the disc. It's like, okay, like you can see that Kendrick, again, just the attention to detail that somebody that grew up on 90s hip hop, I appreciate. I greatly appreciate, because back then you had to look at the album cover, you had to look at the lyrics, you had to look at the imagery, you had to look at all, like, artists made sure that everything lined up. Now it's just whatever the record label tell me to do.
Yep.
And it's like,
whatever they think
it's
is popping.
microwavable, and I don't like it. So that's why the J. Cole's and the Kendricks get the high esteem, because they're now rare. And luckily, it was received well. I think his first week numbers were 289,000 copies were sold. That is the highest.
Like physical copies?
Well, when they count streams as
okay.
copies,
I was like, what?
Yeah. But that's a pretty high number for the
People
for the first
love
week.
him then, because child.
All right. All right. We are going to conclude the podcast with this. We're not going. It doesn't need to be a big conversation, but I think it's an important conversation because how prominent Black Lives Matter is. So I don't even know I'm gonna play the clip. I'm not gonna play the clip. Actually, no, I'm not gonna play the clip. So Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrisse Cullors has been on public trial for the ways that Black Lives Matter has spent some of their donation money. So they bought a mansion, and she's also been accused of paying family members for specific roles within Black Lives Matter. They come under fire just because of, obviously, they released their taxes, and a lot of people have been questioning where the money that has been getting donated to Black Lives Matter, what have they been doing with it? So we're going to just get right into it. I don't want to even massage it. The question is, does this rub you the wrong way? And should activists or practitioners get paid like how other professions get paid? Or should we look at this with a side eye?
Okay, so I feel like they should get paid, because how they gonna make money? That's just number one. All right, we want all of these different causes. It's just like it's the same argument I feel with pastors, right? At churches, when they're like, well, they shouldn't make money, they shouldn't do how they living. All right, and this is supposed to be your sheep that's looking over the whole shepherd, right? Just to get everybody inspired and motivated, and of course bring them all this stuff. So I truly feel like it could be a misunderstanding. I haven't looked all the way into the story. Just gonna be completely honest with it, because I don't know what their books look like. I don't know what their impact report looks like. I don't know how much money they've made in a year, and if they've put something out that shows where everything is going. I don't know how much they're paying their employees, and because the employees were her family members, they're still employees. I don't know what her salary was supposed to be. So I don't know exactly what the books look like, what the actual organization of her, what her articles of incorporation, if they're incorporated, or what that looks like, to say who does what and how much they're paid and who the employees are and all those things. I feel like it's a misunderstanding, and it was a big headline because people are just looking at, oh, well, she got this mansion. I don't know how much she get paid. I don't know what she do on the side. I don't know what else. I mean, she could be moving dope somewhere, and she got all this money coming in. Like, how I know that that's the money from that, So I you get what I'm saying?
Well, I think it's because it showed up on the taxes.
I would have to, I guess.
I know.
I'd have to see everything.
And I think what the uproar is that you guys are using donation money for.
And it specifically showed donation money?
Well, they have to account for all the money that actually comes in. She actually
did she account for her salary? Because that's where I'm confused at. I need to know.
Let me play. I think if I play the clip,
because I need to know what her salary is.
Black Lives Matter, the hashtag, we're just out there.
Hold on.
Organizing folks. We did not have money.
Okay, it's about to come out.
Can you talk a bit about how and who decided the property meets the stated mission of the foundation?
We looked at commercial buildings, we looked at homes, and then we found this really amazing space that's a sweet spot between commercial and residential, that has office spaces, that has parking, that has, yes, a home on the property, but also has a sound stage where you could do podcasts and you could do live events in the backyard.
Did you ever receive a salary from the foundation when you were involved, either in the early days or before you left?
No, I never received a salary from the organization, but I did receive consulting dollars from the organization in the early days. And it was about $120,000 that I received.
How do you respond to that? If people who think that because you're doing well, that somehow means that you aren't as credible a movement practitioner?
I believe that Black organizers who are fighting day in, day out on behalf of Black lives deserve to receive salaries, deserve to receive benefits. In fact, for most of my organizing life, I was not an organizer that received a salary.
Have you ever used money from BLM to pay for your home or the homes of your family members or any other funds that were donated to Black Lives Matter to essentially enrich yourself?
No, I have never used Black Lives Matter donations to pay for any of the properties that I owned in the past or own right now. You know, the idea that Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation received millions of dollars and then I hid those dollars in my bank account is absolutely false.
Is there any truth to the reports that your family has been hired to work at the property that was purchased by Black Lives Matter?
While my brother is the head of security and my mom and sister did work at the property, there are also dozens of other people who work in the organization that are Black folks and are doing amazing work. It's not like I literally, opened up the bank accounts and was like, I'm bringing all my family and friends in. Folks had skill sets. It's been a really bizarre experience to know the truth and to have false and misinformation be spread about me, especially around my own personal resources that I've worked my ass off to attain.
Okay, so what's your personal resources?
Okay.
Like,
I only laughed because I heard the Empire carpet cleaning commercial in the background.
Yeah. 200-300 Empire.
Yeah.
So
I missed that.
that's so funny. This is the thing, right? And I don't know where they be getting these reporters from, right? Okay, answer the questions we do want to know, okay? Because your questions and I hate when people repeat the question when the question's at. So that's a whole nother thing. What do you do? Because we could clear all this up. If she working a job and she making money, girl, and we get it. People live in LA. So this isn't a house. This isn't her personal house that she bought. They bought a space for the Black Lives Matter global, whatever it's called, right? Yes. And I've seen businesses do that where they get a location that mimics like a home and it has office spaces. Okay, so what is the real problem here?
The reason behind it, they said, is for the victims that have dealt with like police brutality, that they have a space so that way if they need to get away, that they have some type of mansion or some type of getaway for that.
I absolutely love it. I mean, let's just like, what is it, the Children's Hospital, where when they bring families and they're going through so all of that is good. I feel like the biggest thing, and this is the questions that wasn't being answered, because she said, okay, how much she did make from Black Lives Matter. Got it. Mm-hmm. Tell these people what your profession is or something. Let them know. Get them off of you. I feel like her going around the point and them not even asking, okay, so what is it that you do? Because she said she was a part of Black Lives Matter. I hear something else is in there. What else are you doing? You make money from something else. Not saying that she has to prove this, right, but you're leaving that part out, which is what's making this seem more salacious than what it probably is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you think?
It's all about perspective. You know what I mean? Because it's like, maybe they did buy it, but it's not necessarily just because like, oh, I'm trying to upgrade my life. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like, it works for everybody who's there. We're all under one household. We're all underneath one roof. We're all working together. And the people who work here, people who live here, work here, and it's just like, they just happen to be some of them might be my family because they do good work. Yeah. And why are you getting mad at me for hiring my family when they're qualified to do the job? But I felt like the biggest problem was people thought it was her personal house. That's what I heard initially.
It could be, or that they bought it for personal gain. Yeah, I don't know if she's living there or not, or if she was living there. She just said I know her brother is living there because he's the head of security, and her mom and sister were working there. So I believe that they're probably living there at the time too. So I don't know if they stopped living there because it didn't look good. I think all of this, I don't know if they have a board of directors or whatever.
Right, like they have to. Something.
That, to me, the biggest issue with this is if Black Lives Matter was more visible in doing more work, I think people will be less likely to question where the donations are going. Because when you get $90 million in the donations and then we ain't really seen you since, and you show up for George Floyd and then you show up for Breonna Taylor, but then we don't really see where the money. I think we don't see where the money's going, so it makes it look away. The other thing is, in hindsight, it may not have been the best thing for you to hire your brother as head of security. Now, do I see that there's a problem with that? No, because the thing that I don't like is white organizations do this all the time.
All the time.
Donald Trump hired his son, daughter, when he got into the White House. All the Trumps got jobs,
absolutely.
right? Or had businesses and had this and had that. So we see this all the time. The problem is that now it's a black organization that's doing it.
Yeah.
And they feel like that. I just feel like we are unfairly marginalized. And I feel like even for us, we have a higher standard for our own people. We like, all right, like we donate to y'all like niggas died and shit. So where's the money? We do that, like even at funerals.
Because that's how we are.
Even at funerals, we will if somebody dies and there's some type of settlement check, the first thing somebody asks is, where's the money?
I know, which ain't their business.
And it's like, and where's the money going? It's like, well, it's going towards the funeral. How much did you get?
Right.
It's like,
and how much was the funeral?
Like, it's the funeral's getting paid for. And it's like, we always think that we're trying to get over on each other, and that's that crab in a bucket mentality. So I think that's really what is going down here, is that we feel like that black people are always trying to get over on black people. So people died. It wasn't your family member who died, but you collected the money. Now what are you doing with it? So I think that they do need to be a little bit more transparent with where the money's going.
There needs to be an impact report. Something needs to go out. And this is the thing, even if you are full of it, right? Put something out there. Okay, let us know. Where the report that said we said that we was giving it here, and then let that company be like, no, they didn't give it to us. Do something. Yeah. I'm not saying be unethical, because you shouldn't, but I'm just saying if you're gonna do something like this,
or what families
have your stuff together.
Was their family, and maybe you don't want to put that there. I don't know. I get both sides of it. I think it's unfair for us to judge, but when public donations come in, you are held to a higher accountability. To me, I even do that with the church. To me, because you talking about pastors.
Yeah,
I feel like it's the same thing. If your income or donations are coming from the public, then the public has a right to know where the money's going.
Very valid.
I was trying to look on their website and see if they have like I said, the impact report. We received $98 million in donations. This is what those donations went to. Yes. 60 something went here. This went here. Like they should have something like that that shows that.
And it seemed like, and I could be wrong, but it seems like that this may be the first like tax return that came out that was visible or people can go through. Because I don't remember this coming up and being a thing before. It's starting to kind of steamroll. The thing I don't like is that we all black people know that there's a difference between Black Lives Matter, the organization, and Black Lives Matter, the statement and the movement. And I think people are going to use this as a way to
fuck up the movement.
Yes. Because they're going to say, oh, well, y'all fuck up money all the time. And
y'all had y'all chance.
Yeah, exactly.
I just looked up. She paid her brother $840,000 in security.
Yeah, see.
Security charges?
That's
a good security job.
That's a little well, depending on how long. How long was the...
I don't know. I'm wondering if this is like... And see, this is what pisses me off about the media, when they just trying to get a story. You're not letting us know what the full details are.
You just put $840,000. If that was $840,000 over 10 years, then that's different. But don't make it seem like it's just like, oh, 1 year you made $140,000.
Yeah, it's so irritating. Then you got to do all this details, but they ain't gonna tell you all this. They just want you to get all in uproar.
All yeah.
Oh, she's a Gemini.
Yeah, it's a bad look, man.
I wasn't trying to correlate. You know? Nothing. I just looked at her birthday. She's a Gemini.
So I don't know, but I've always been kind of questioning Black Lives Matter as an organization. Apprehensive. There you go. That's probably a better word.
Yeah.
They just, I don't know. It's just sometimes when organizations get too big, then you kind of start losing sight of what you are there for. And when money gets involved, money definitely does change people. I know for sure we had a lot of drama with Black Lives Matter Sacramento, where the head of it didn't want to step down, and they had to force her out, and she was still taking money and donation after the fact, and it was really ugly, and it made us look unorganized and unprofessional. So
yeah. I
So
just kept giving to my own Black life. That was it. Not
there you go. There you go.
just saying, hey.
All right. Well, I think that was a good episode.
I think this
Talked
was
about
great.
a lot of things. Talked about therapy. Talked about money. Talked about all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Damn, we ain't gonna do the hip hop affirmation day. I ain't got one today.
Nah, me neither.
I ain't got one. So, but we appreciate Miss Gina
Thank you so much
for coming on the podcast. For
is
y'all
great.
that are listening, please, if you are in the Sacramento area, because is it in person or is it virtual?
Oh, for
The group coaching.
Oh, virtual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Look,
it's virtual. You can be everywhere, child.
Look, if you
I'm getting money from all the states, everywhere.
wherever you
Okay.
at. She got 16 spots. I don't know how many spots she got open. So if you want to get in, you better get in ASAP.
Y'all
because-
actually are. This is because I'm not premiered until next week, actually. So y'all get a chance to get on in there.
See, there you go. So y'all better get up on in there, and get in there early, and make sure that you follow her. Maybe make sure you subscribe. Her episodes are dope. You can go back and listen to some of the older episodes. It's still all free game, and it's for free. So
It's for
if y'all want to
free.
check out the episodes before you sign in,
Check it
that's
out.
fine. But you might not get in because it's only 16 spots. That's all I'm gonna
right.
say. So we appreciate you. We're gonna give you another
you.
round of applause.
Thank you.
Steph will be back next episode. We want to
I
thank
hate that I
young Nate.
missed her. Oh.
Oh, yeah. No, you gonna be back on. You a friend of the show. We
Okay.
already know you
Come
gonna be
on,
a
friend of the
crowd
show.
friend of the show. Thank you, young Nate, for being on the cameras and being on the boards. Thank you, Photo B, man. You always giving us some insight, man.
For sure.
And y'all stay safe. Make sure that y'all, the pandemic is still on. Don't be out here in the summertime acting like you want to be a city girl or a city boy. And y'all go over here catching COVID and be out for 2 weeks.
For the
So-
streets.
People still getting COVID
People
too,
still
though.
getting COVID
Yeah.
because it's still a pandemic.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
It's still a pandemic. So we gonna get, and y'all make sure y'all budget, man. Budget y'all money.
That's
man.
right.
We out.
Let's go.